So welcome everybody. Today is January 26th, the year 2020, and this is the second class in Living Your Soul Stream. So we're so delighted you're here, some of you in the physical in the Zoom room, and many of you, of course, listening to the recording. So we join our energies now as a pod, working together for the greater good as well as for our individual benefit. And today we're going to open the sacred space in a different way. You know, there's so many ways to do it, and I've studied with so many people. You probably have too, different parts of the world. And a big part of my life right now is honoring the shamanic way as well as the teachings of the animals. So today we're going to do a prayer that you can all join in with me. I'm going to share the screen, and it's called the Muniki prayer. It's used by many indigenous tribes around the world, many shamans, as you know, they very much honor the earth. So I'm going to bring it up on the screen, and you can either physically or energetically face the different directions. So I'll just start out by saying we open to the flowing love now of source energy, that each and every one of us now opens our hearts and our minds, our spirit and our souls to the energy, what I call the organizing principles of the universe, because we know when we connect to them, we change the vibration. We move immediately into our heart space. So here we go. And even though you're muted, it might be nice for you to do this with me, okay? So energetically now, I am facing the south, and I'm saying the beautiful prayer to open the sacred space and to refresh my, I'm going to say, angelic cetacean grid that I have over my home that we did last week. So to the winds of the south, great serpent, wrap your coils of light around us. Teach us to shed the past the way you shed your skin. Walk softly on the earth. Teach us the beauty way. Aho. And now let's turn to the west. To the winds of the west, Mother Jaguar, protect our medicine space. Teach us the way of peace, to live impeccably. Show us the way beyond death. Aho. And now facing the north, to the winds of the north, hummingbird, grandmothers and grandfathers, ancient ones, come and warm your hands by our fires. Whisper to us in the wind. We honor you who have come before us, and you who will come after us, our children's children. Aho. And to the east, to the winds of the east, great eagle and mighty condor, come to us from the place of the rising sun. Keep us under your wing. Show us the mountains we only dare to dream of. Teach us to fly wing to wing with the Great Spirit. And now, either touching the earth or, connecting down into the earth as we anchor our light. Mother Earth, Pachamama, we've gathered for the healing of all of your children, the stone people, the plant people, the four-legged, the two-legged, the creepy crawlers, the finned, the furred, and the winged ones, all of our relations. And now turning our attention to the sun and beyond, to the great central sun, to prime creator, Father Sun, Grandmother Moon, to the star nations, Great Spirit, and you who are known by 1,000 names, and you who are unnameable. Thank you for bringing us together and allowing us to sing the song of life. Now coming back to the seventh direction, which of course is your own heart, just feeling into that energy, touching your heart, beginning to breathe the energy more and more from the earth up into your body, past the solar plexus, up to the heart, and more from the sun, which is the portal, of course, to source energy. Beautiful. So we're going to do our first meditation to continue with this path of raising our vibration to where we can align with the soul, we can hear the soul, and of course we can work with our guides today. So go ahead, if you have your blindfold, and put that on. And we're going to do a meditation today called the Unity Breath, which to me is one of the first and foremost meditations I do every morning, and it balances your day. So it's very powerful. So go within. And let's enjoy this meditation together. This is a Unity Breath meditation by Lori Rion. Allow yourself to sit comfortably with your spine straight, developing a regular rhythm of breathing, turning your awareness to your heart space. Begin thinking about Mother Earth and all that she does for us. She provides life for life. She helps us all to be grounded and continually changing. She supports every being. Allow your heart to become filled with love and gratitude for all that she is and all that she does. Feeling love and gratitude for the trees, the plants, the rocks, the soil, the water, the air, and the fire. Knowing that all of these elements belong to Mother Earth as we do. She will always love us. And when your heart is so filled with love and gratitude that it can no longer be contained, with your intention, send that love directly into the heart of Mother Earth, and then wait. Wait for her to send her love back to you. She always does. She has always loved us and always will. Just allow that love to stay in your heart in a tiny ball, feeling the love of the Mother inside of you. And then turn your awareness and your consciousness to Father Sky. Father Sky is the place of infinite possibilities, the bigger picture perspective, the places, beyond our imagining. And allow your love for Father Sky to begin building in your heart more love and gratitude. Love and gratitude for the planets, the stars, the comets, the meteors, the galaxies, and the universes and dimensions beyond what we are even aware of. The limitless possibilities. And when that love and gratitude in your heart can no longer be contained in your heart space, send it with a powerful intention straight up directly through the top of your head into the heart of Father Sky. And then wait. Wait for Father Sky to send his love back to you. Because he has always loved you, and he always will. And when you receive that love, place it in a ball in your heart next to that of Mother Earth. And continue feeling that love and gratitude in your heart. Feel your unique connection with Source and life everywhere. Open yourself completely to invite in Source to enter your fields, filling you with unconditional love. As you do this, allow yourself to expand all your unconditional love and gratitude with each breath, filling your large pranosphere, larger and larger until it can no longer be contained. And when you are ready, with your intention, let your energy go as far as you can, expanding and radiating in all directions to the unlimited ends of the universe,
allowing this energy to return to you, magnified, anchoring into your heart center, creating a flow that breaks all barriers of separatism and polarity. Enjoy this connection deeply and stay in this place as long as you wish.
Now enjoying that vibration, Master Buddha, is an aspect of Seth, as I explained, has written a beautiful prayer. So I know prayers in my world certainly raise my vibration, and it seems like every spare minute she wants to sit down and write another prayer. So I hope you enjoy this. This is the prayer for 2020 and beyond. May your life be a powerful divine celebration through the coming year of 2020. We start not only a new year, but a new decade. May you find continued joy and blessings in every day of your life. May your spiritual awareness, your awakening, and your ascension pathway be filled with light and love and continued expansion. For me, 2019 was a remarkable year filled with change and travel and many new and interesting people. I am blessed beyond measure. January 2020 marks the beginning of a new year and the opening of a great portal of light. Many opportunities are arriving, and manifestation is becoming easier and easier. It is such a gift to be alive on planet Earth right now and a conscious creator. This year, I pray that all can find that peaceful place within, that state of truly being authentic, the sacred space of stillness that lives within your sacred heart. Beloved ones, let us choose to create a fresh and expansive space to welcome and embrace the magic of the new year. Know that we are all immersed in healing and clearing and transmutation of karma from previous lives and this one. These are things that no longer serve ourselves on this beautiful planet, so let us release them together. Let us nudge each other in the coming year with loving support to firmly clear and step up and claim our greatest power. Let us support each other in being grounded, embracing our openness, our authenticity, and our love in the most pure and faithful way. The truth is coming forward. Deceit is being exposed, and love is all around you. Let us embrace the power of the new year and the new decade from our heart space and use our pure loving intentions to embrace the most benevolent outcome for all beings in all places and at all times. Much love and many blessings. I am Seth. Good prayer. So I'm going to take it one notch further now, and I'm going to share the screen to a particular topic it's really popular right now, and it's called 0 point. So 3 or 4 years ago, we're working with this word, which is relatively new, over the past few years. So when we started out last class, and I taught you about setting up what we call the octahedron around your house, and we used archangels and dolphins and whales to increase the vibration of the octahedron. It's a 4-sided pyramid that's set up around the property or the perimeter of your house, your apartment. And then it's inverted down into the earth. And I call it a plasma pyramid, double pyramid. So I wanted to bring up this article that Seth brought to us, as well as remind you that when you set up the sacred space, you should visualize that. And again, I explained to you, I do that every morning. If I don't do it every morning, there's definitely holes in my grid. There are always vibrations that would come that would manipulate you. And again, it's not a war. It's just reality. We're on a planet with duality. So it's up to you. It's no different than putting on your raincoat when you go out and it's raining. You just want to protect yourself in a very loving and powerful way. So create the energetic double pyramid or octahedron every day in your meditation and station angels to raise the vibration of your home and property. So I wanted to refresh that in addition to what we've already done, honoring the shamanic way with the Munich prayer today. So to the south, I have Archangel Uriel. And you can call that being in now or refresh your presence with Archangel Uriel to the south. And to the west, every day I call in Archangel Michael. To the to the west, every day I call in Archangel Gabriel. And the reason is because I live on the west coast and the dolphins come in from the west, and I could drive a couple miles and see dolphins. And so I like to think of the dolphins as my mentors and teachers because they're always communicating to me things that I don't know. They're holding a higher vibration than I am, and they're always working on our DNA. And so Gabriel of the archangels is the great communicator, often called the voice of God. So that's why I ask him to be on the west. That may not resonate for you, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. Please don't think you have to mimic me. I'm only offering you an opportunity, okay? And to the north, I'm calling in Archangel Michael. And to the east, Archangel Raphael. So I'm seeing that four-sided pyramid, and there's a picture of one of Buddha's little pyramids. It's Oregon here. And then down below, in the apex that goes down into the earth, mine stationed at 3.3 miles, is Archangel Chamuel. And above, center above, is Archangel Jophiel. And then last but not least is you can visualize you standing in the middle of this pyramid and touching your heart. And here I call in Archangel Zadkiel. So there are many, many archangels, guys, but these are the 7 archangels that are often considered the most powerful or the most commonly associated with Earth. Please do what you're guided to do and work with the angels in a way that's perfect and right for you. So as we're sitting within the sacred geometric form of the octahedron, we're creating what we call a 0-point energy field. And that's one of the teachings for today. This is Seth's version, or I would say definition. 0 point is the underlying energetic of absolute interconnected stillness from which all experiences are born. It provides clarity and allows the mind to stop offering you a false reality. So however you set up your sacred space, your octahedron, or you do your unity breath like we just did, that meditation, that will achieve, if you do it from a place of pure heart, you really focus, you will be in 0 point. And that's where we're at now. 0 point is the presence of all that is infinite and neutral. And from this place, we are offered a boundless state of possibility. That's where we want to be, right? No limitations. So when you enter the sacred geometry that is the octahedron or double pyramid, as above, so below, you enter rapid evolution, and the illusions of this dimension or density dissipate. So you step out of duality. Okay, here's a little information that may or may not resonate for you, but I'm going to read it. Also note that your solar system receives an infusion of divine light or consciousness streaming from the galactic 0 point while the Stargate is open. And this is every year between December 12th and December 21st, which is, of course, the winter solstice. This time period is a very powerful potential energy source, as the galactic 0 point field operates as a universal mind. This influences how matter is formed. In the higher realms, it's also known as the Genesis code of your universe. I tell you that the human DNA is coded to remember all at 0 point. As the conscious mind evolves towards reaching enlightenment, the 0 point field plays a vital role influencing the future outcome of the material world. So that's a big statement directing you, of course, to the time period we just passed. But it's also telling you of how important it is for humans to reach 0 point, hopefully every day, because we make a difference as a collective. This is an ascension wave that offers you a process to transcend duality and create a coherent state of connection and integration. The unifying principle of 0 point assists with neutralizing all polarized forces into a harmonious state of oneness. All polarized forces, negative energies that would manipulate you or hurt you or try to make you sick, they can't touch you. So it's well worth your exploration. Use this time wisely, my creator friends, and enjoy the spirit of the holidays. So this was written, as you can see, 11/30/17, but it still applies really to every day of your life. And I felt to share that with you. So I hope you enjoy that. So I'm going to open up for a minute to the gallery so people can comment or share anything that you'd like. I know that what I wrote down was that we want to review the going into the heart, the arc and the elevator, and see if that was something that you guys practiced. Also the guide phonetics, getting a strong yes and no from your guides or even beyond, being able to get answers that you can trust from your master guide that are simple, that aren't really emotional. So go ahead if you'd like to speak and you'd like to share, unmute yourself and just come on. This is the time for us to share on these important topics. Anybody? Jean.
Sure. It was very beneficial, the elevator. I was in process of writing a newsletter and wrote it about being in the heart and setting resolutions, smart resolutions, but including the heart when setting the smart resolutions. So I included a part in the newsletter about how to get into your heart. I used the elevator, and I also added a little bit so when the elevator opens up, it opens up into a paradise, either
Nice.
or woods,
Oh, yeah.
or a scene that helps the person relax, get into a calm space, and then I said, then open your eyes and write or create your project, deal with your family problems, projects at work, etc. So it was very beneficial. So I just passed that on. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Love it. Love it. And just mentioning too, if you guys are liking this work and you want to further study what I call just really the energy of ascension and the energy of the soul, there's so much more. But one of the teachings is more extensive, is going into what they call the still small space of the heart, often called the small chamber of the heart. There's another chamber that you can go into. And it does take focus. It does take practice. It's really the highest vibration you can achieve as a human. And in there, when you start doing that work, it always is the same. And each person's is different. Like it might look like a beautiful temple. It might look like a scene in nature. It might look like, who knows, you might be out in the cosmos. And I never try to put a picture in your mind of what yours will look like for people who study with me a little bit more long term, because when that's revealed to you, you're in 0 point. You're sitting, your soul is all around you. You're merged with your soul. And that anything is possible. And the goal really as an awakened human now is to find that place and to stay there as often as possible. I know one of my teachers, Drunvalo Melchizedek, he used to say his goal was to stay in the small chamber of the heart when he went out into the world. And he hadn't been able to do that yet for 24 hours, but he knew he would. And he used to compare it to tones. He used to say, sorry about my little pop-ups. Here is my heart space. Here's my small heart, the small space of my heart. So we want to go from this tone to this tone and stay there. And then you're strong, So very interesting, huh? And good comment that you kind of just naturally went into what I would call, a beautiful vision. I would say that is the small space of your heart. You just kind of did it anyway. Anybody else? Jennifer.
Well, I just noticed, oh, hi, by the way, sorry, I'm a bit late. I noticed during the week in doing the circular breathing that it helped me focus more on being in the heart that way.
Yes.
And I found it opened the space a lot more in the connection with my head chakras. So that the third eye, everything's just been a lot more connected. Things have been more clear. I've done meditation this week, but I've been running around, and I found that in general, I'm a lot calmer, a lot happier. And I've been looking for the yes and no, but I actually forgot to practice it because I felt that I was finally, for the first time, actually just reading and understanding what was coming intuitively to me, and it felt good. So for the first time, I've actually been able to feel honest feelings towards I'm doing the right thing, and wasn't joggled so much with things that would normally upset me, which has been, a long-term goal of mine. But I have to say, it just health-wise and just my mental emotional state has been overall a lot better since I've been working on these meditations. Thank you.
Good. The heart really is, I mean, you can put it up on the wall in a big banner. The heart is the key to everything. And your intuition, we often associate that with the third eye, which is, I told you that is the organ that allows you to speak to spirit, allows you to speak to animals. It allows you to be back in the telepathic zone, which is your natural state. That's really who you are. We have created verbal communication here, which really separates us, right? I mean, we use it to communicate, but it is a separation because it's very difficult to use a verbal language to communicate the same way, let's say dolphins do, or cats or whatever, So this is what she's showing me. She's saying, I'm talking about my partner. She's saying, think of the heart as the engine to the soul, and think of the third eye as the steering wheel. So you can't get very far with just the steering wheel. You have to connect it to the engine, to the car, right? So that it works. So that was a good analogy. I'm in the class too, as you can tell. I'm always being taught. And I love the little metaphors that Buddha gives us. So anyone else on practicing living and creating from the heart, or working with the third eye, working with guidance? We touched on all of that. Everybody ready? So what about the unity breath? Did you enjoy that? The one we just did today? Because it breathes the prana up from the earth, breathes the prana down from the sun into the heart. So you're being fed vertically, right? And for me, I can best teach when I reference myself, because most of my life I was out of balance. I didn't even know what balance was. I didn't know about Mother Earth as a conscious being. I mean, I loved her, but I didn't know I loved her, if that makes any sense. I think kids naturally do love the earth. They play on the grass and climb the trees, but I didn't know her because I was taught religion, which most of us were, right? About Father God. I didn't know about balance. I didn't know about the elementals. I didn't know how to breathe the energy up, really like up through our feet like we do now, to create balance. And once I learned that, oh my God, my life shifted. So don't take that for granted. And that's about a 10-minute version of it, but you could do it. And I teach this particularly to people that are in the corporate world, because they have crashes throughout the day because they're in horrible situations. They have fluorescent lights. They don't necessarily go outside. There are people yelling at them. They're pressured. Computer energy, cell phone energy, you add that up, and what's your day going to look like? You have to be pretty strong to survive in that world in a loving way, I think. So kudos to all the people that are doing that in corporate world, or an office world. But let's do a short version of that. I think that might help you. Okay, this is what I've taught them, is to go to a private place. It might be the car, might be outside, might be the break room, might be the bathroom. And let's say center below, and close your eyes and drop your energy into the earth. And that just re-anchors you. Hopefully you've done this in the morning before you've left the house. So you're just re-anchoring what you've already created. So the flow, gets stronger. Now say center above, and connect to the energy of source light. Again, I anchor mine at 3.3 miles. You might just do it at 1 mile or half a mile even. You want to do it in what seems realistic and comfortable for you. Okay, so now you're connecting to source, and it's coming directly through the crown chakra, and it's coming down into your heart. Now say center within, and do the arc or the elevator and come into the heart. And immediately what's happened now is you've triangulated. And triangulation moves you out of duality, moves you out of polarization. Center below, center above, center within. And now see yourself as a lighthouse, and I'm going to see 2 beams of light. If you can open your eyes for a minute, doing this. Circling, one's going clockwise, one's going counterclockwise, and say radiating core energy, and do the lighthouse sweep 3 times and then put it on automatic. Okay, 1, all the way around your body, 2, 3, and then sometimes I do this like a power breath, sending it out, and immediately it comes back to you, just like in the unity breath. As soon as it goes out, the universe pushes it back to you. They say thank you, and here's more. So short but easy, center below, center above, center within, radiating core energy. And you're back. I mean, you're back. How long you stay there is up to you, because of, what thought forms are coming next. And remember, the goal is to be loving in thought, word, and deed. Training yourself not to go into judgment or to feel less than if someone puts you down or challenges you or pushes you into competition. Try to stay strong. Beth, go ahead.
The counterclockwise and clockwise movement, is that like, I don't want you to go into a big detour, but is that what people do when they talk about the Merkaba and having
Yes.
these different.
Yes, absolutely.
And are you having like it to flow up or flow down, or just at this equal?
I'm making my body a lighthouse, and I'm extending lights out from my body.
So it's all just at the same plane.
Yeah, just however that works for you. Basically, what you want to do is circulate light in both directions.
Okay.
And it is because of the Merkaba. Very
Okay.
good. And interestingly enough, too, I mean, I hardly ever teach that anymore in the sense because I have recorded classes of it. But I am going to teach one live, and it's coming up. So watch my newsletter. I've got, when I get back from Hawaii, I've got a bunch of cool classes coming up in March and April. And I am going to teach it again live because it's such an important part in people that get to a certain point. And they're like, what's next? I want the galactic vibration. I want to understand my light body. I'm ready to see sacred geometry for what it really is. You know, the math will always change, but the geometry never will, because it's the truth, right? I mean, our universe is grounded in sacred geometry. It's created in sacred geometry. Nobody will ever change that. That's well worth your exploration. Okay, let's look at, read my own notes here. Let's look at a document I like. We'll see where you guys are. Talking about potential now. And potential is everything, because if you think that you can't do something, or you're not good at it, or somebody's told you you're not good at it, you know, this is the day to really reverse that. Only you know, and when I say you, I'm talking about your soul. I'm not talking about your physical body. Really knows where you're going to flourish, you know, where you're going to find your niche. And that really comes from, we've talked about the emotional body being the creative force, not the thinking, okay, not the mind. The mind is important, but it's definitely not going to connect you to your soul. If anything, it'll take you away from it. So finding your passion and pursuing it. Well, how do you know what your passion is? Well, if you're happy, if you feel joyful, if you feel stimulated, if you're going to find true abundance and prosperity in life, you must do what you love. You know what it is. There's that one thing that you want to do more than anything else. You are so passionate about it, and you love it more than anything else. So go after your dream. So this was written a few years ago, and I would temper that now with saying, you may not know what it is, and I can raise my hand. I mean, I could go back to saying things we're going to cover right now is that as a child, I loved animals more than I loved people. So that was a sign, but it really wasn't written up in job descriptions of loving animals as a career, okay? Really what the only thing that was really available was maybe becoming a trainer or a veterinarian, that's the direction I went in. So I guess what I'm trying to say is there's going to be things that you are on this planet to do that kind of really haven't been done yet, or aren't that popular yet or known. And I'm just going to reference myself as, I mean, I'm started out really on this path I'm on now by becoming and saying it out loud, I'm an animal communicator. And by honoring the fact that I could hear the animals, I didn't actually know until I started doing it that it would work, you know, that people would be open to it, or that I would continue in that path. I think it's like anything, you need some validation. And so I found out that by doing that, I really did help people, and I really did help the animals. So it was a slow go. Also, I was the crazy lady with the cat, you know, and maybe people still think I am, I don't know. But I mean, I have kind of a unique situation with the cat as a teacher that's an ascended master, and, you know, different organizations, including Cryon, have said, you know, that she's a being that's carrying a vibration that very, very few beings are. So it doesn't make her more loved. It just makes her special in the sense of she's found me to help her achieve what she's here for. So she needed to find somebody to work with that I'm sure we agreed to before we were born that would be her voice, his voice. And that I'm speaking of the energy of Seth as she continues to come in as Master Cat Buddha. So you may have an animal like that, or you may know someone with an animal like that, but that's certainly not required to do the work that I'm talking about. I mean, I could have just gone on and been an animal communicator without ever really saying anything about Buddha, because each animal has its own voice. So anyway, I hope I'm not rambling on too much. You're getting the idea. You can find the niche that is there for you, but it involves exploring things. This is what I'm hearing from your guides now, that some of you just haven't explored yet. Even for some of you, let's say you're a writer, you haven't necessarily explored all the topics yet because you haven't got them in your consciousness yet. So part of the reason this class is valuable for you in these processes is because you can go deeper now. And you can have more in-depth conversations if you practice with your guides that will show you what your dream is before you were born. Also, will show you avenues to get there that will help not only you, but the planet. But it comes from the passion, okay? It comes from the heart. Number 2, you absolutely have to believe in it. And I realize that's probably, if I could circle that in red, that's probably one of the biggest things is we have to believe. We've been so conditioned to judge and to feel worthiness issues, you know, as a human. I mean, that's part of being on the planet, I think, is that somebody has told you that you're not worthy. Certainly starts with religion, fall on your knees, you're a sinner, all of that. And I don't mean disrespect, but, you know, most of that's a lie, okay? We're all divine, immortal beings of light. I love the Polynesians. When I go over there and I work with them, you know what they say? They're taught as children, they're born into a bowl of light. I like that. They're not taught that they're sinners and that somebody had to die on a cross and on and on. They're taught that they're powerful and that they're loved. I mean, what if we were taught that? And I'm speaking of people that were maybe in North America that were also raised Christian, where our power is literally taken away from you. So you have to find it, don't you? It surfaces on its own, you know, but you have to acknowledge that and then come back to believing in it. And hopefully find, you know, a spiritual group of people that are really here for the earth and they rise above that. And then they come back to their potential and their abilities to really believe in yourself. And I want to come back to, just as I said, religion, because, you know, believe me, there's one being that's ascended, and that being would be the one you call Jesus. He believes in you. He always did. He never would tell you that you were lacking. That came later with the church. Jesus said the most powerful things, love one another, greater things than this shall you do. He was a master of love and a master of self-empowerment. And unfortunately, a lot of that got shuffled away, because he certainly would tell you to believe in yourself. No action should take place without the first intense belief. You can only act in accordance with the way you see yourself. If you don't have faith in yourself, you will never achieve your goals. That's kind of hard to hear that, but I think that if you go within and maybe you look at somebody you think that has tons and tons of talent, I'm sure you can think of someone. They never did anything with it. They never really believed in themselves. So then what happened? Not too much, right? I can think of several people I know that are just, I mean, we're talking talent on top of talent, gifts upon gifts. And, you know, what do they do with it? I don't know. That's the people I, of course, really want to help. But you know what? They have to want help. Okay, so let's go to 3. Burn the bridges. Don't give yourself a way out. If you know that there is no other option than the one you really want, you will realize you have to make this work because there is no plan B. You're fully invested and all in. So this is when the going gets tough. You know, I would say you're having an initiation, probably directly from your soul, so to speak. If you're invested in a project and then challenges come, don't burn the bridge. Stay in there for a little while. Don't completely turn around and say, okay, that didn't work. Give it another shot. Or sometimes it's the people that are on the team that have to be adjusted. Okay, sometimes maybe you're going to be the only one left from the original team and a new team will be built to accomplish what you're fully vested in. That's happened to me more than once. We all started out sort of what we thought with the same goal. That happened with my first healing center. There were 5 of us. And when it was all over, and you know, it wasn't a nice ending for most of them anyway. 2 of them came to me and said, you're the only one that did what we said we were going to do when we moved here. And I never wavered from that. And I just sort of expected them to do what they said they were going to do, but they didn't. And I'm not, you know, whipping them or anything. I'm just saying they went a different direction. They have a different path now. But it helped me go deeper to find out that no matter what anyone else did, this is my path. And it was a tough time because, well, most of you know how much I love Puda and how much she's a part of my life. She wasn't in body at that time. So it was just me by myself and a couple of other cats that were really powerful too. But I had to really go deep, and I'm so glad I did. Even though there were a lot of tears, I did it. You know, I came through it and went on to create the healing center, of course, that I have now in the school. Okay, number 4, study and model someone successful. And if you can't find a person that's, you know, successful in what you think there is, find different people that have the qualities that you'd like to emulate, maybe more than one. If you're looking to accomplish a certain goal, find someone who's already done what you want to do. And let's see, in my case, that really wasn't there either, and copy what they did to get there. However, it's good advice. Get your hands on everything you can to teach you what you need to do and immerse yourself in all of it. Rather than spending time watching TV or wasting time, spend every spare moment reading and studying all you can about others or what you have done, or about others who have done what you want to do. Now that can be very useful, but another thing that can be very useful is spending time going within in meditation. And I'm going to take it a notch up. And by now you're in communication with your guides, and your guides are going to give you a ton of ideas. They won't do it for you, but they'll give you a lot of ideas. Example is with my work, I think it's 18 years now I've been doing the whale healing and clearing sessions. Used to start because I was a spiritual coach, and I'd be working with someone, and then we'd come up to one of their blocks, right? And then I'd say, I think we need to do a healing session to remove that block. And they would agree, and so we'd do the session, they'd get better, we go on to the next thing that they wanted to achieve as a coach. So years and years went by with me really only getting clients through the whale healing by coming through the coaching program. It never occurred to me to advertise it. So years went by, and the whales and dolphins and other people are saying, you need to formalize this. You need to make a program where people find out about it. I mean, there'll be people that will come to you for healing that are not going to come to you for coaching. They just need healing. And then years went by, and people said, you really need to train other people how to do this. And that's, I said, I don't think I can, because, I communicate with the whales one-on-one, and every time they speak to me, it's different than the person before. It's not like I can put it into a manual, I guess is what I thought. Well, I was wrong. 3 years ago, I decided to, after much pushing from the whales and people, to create the Whale and Dolphin Energy Medicine School. And some of you are in here, I know, have been in the school, so I mean, it was possible. It was a stretch, but I did it, and still able to teach the ability to channel and customize. That no two people are alike, no two healing sessions are going to be alike. But there's a format, but after that, the way the energy goes is up to spirit and to that particular person, wherever they are in their vibration. So study and model someone successful. There's a lot of breakaways from that. But it is an important piece of advice. Okay, focus on one thing at a time. Don't spread yourself too thin. Just as the analogy of laying one brick at a time, you must focus in on one thing at a time. Choose what you want to do and try to put all of your energy into that one thing. Okay, so this worked for me. Maybe it works for you, but I've set a time limit. I mean, I do many things besides what I've just described to you. Most of you know that. So it is good advice, though, to focus on one thing for a certain time period before you move on to something else. Like set 3 or 4 hours to work on a project, or work on a particular part of your business, or work on the birth of something that's going to be a part of you, or work on a project that will enhance yourself at your workplace, or to work on a relationship. But then, okay, when the timer goes off, go on to the next thing, because I do believe that for most of us, we have to diversify and be good at many things to really be, a light worker on the planet. Okay, but I do believe when it's being birthed and when it's being fine-tuned, it's being born into the world, it is going to take your focus, and you have to put time aside for it without distraction, without answering the phone, and so forth. Okay, I think we all know that. Number 6, don't be typical. You've always heard the phrase results, not typical. Well, if you don't want typical results, then you need to go against the flow. 98 to 99% people just go with the flow of life and accept ordinary results. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know if it's that high, but don't settle. And I would say be different. I would say you probably wouldn't be in this class if you weren't different. That, you really do want to be uniquely diverse, uniquely authentic, and absolutely spiritual in your life now. That everything comes through communication with spirit, or it's not worth doing. Okay, number 7, protect your dream. Don't let other people tell you what you can or can't do. So important. There will always be naysayers and haters. Let them hate on. People who believe they can't do something themselves think that no one else can either. That's so true. So they will tell you it can't be done. Don't listen to them. They're not you. So this comes back to don't judge, and don't let other people's judgments penetrate your energy field. A lot of the teachings on the planet, the mental aspects, the analytical process that you've been immersed in since you were born, is people telling you what to do. Yeah, don't. Just don't. Stay true to yourself, stay true to your soul. And protect, put people in your life that will support you, even if they don't understand you, where they'll say to you, kudos, and they'll encourage you no matter what, even if you fail, to get up and go on, that they're not going to judge you. It's really important. I think that's your soul tribe, and if you reach out and you say to spirit, I'm changing, I'm raising my vibration now, that's the most important thing. Please bring me people that will support me. It'll happen. Totally will. Totally will. So hopefully you took some notes and maybe you have some questions about that list. It's just sort of a beginning list, but was that helpful? Good. Good. What comes to mind? Somebody volunteer. What are you feeling when you read those things back? Are you doing some of them now, or are some of them new to you? Jennifer.
Well, it's funny because I feel like so many of us are all coming to a threshold to bubble over. It's interesting, every time I take healing classes too, it's like I'm recognizing people that I haven't met in this life. And that list, myself and many people were at different ages seem to be going through it, and it's like I've had to put my dreams in the back burner all the time for a ton of naysayers and just the baggage. And it's just really interesting that over the last 6 months since I decided to drop as much negativity as I could, all of this approach to look at reevaluation of life is here. So I find it's like something I've been hearing for a long time, but I'm now actually able to look at it and
implement it, huh?
Yeah, put it in. And I think there's other people here, by looking at some people nod, that agree with me. It's interesting. It's like now the time's allowing us to really grow.
Okay. So here's Puda. She says, when you're all said and done with this life and you choose your exit opportunity, you transition, you leave your physical body and you go back home. You want to look back, and the only one, when they talk about Judgment Day, that's going to judge you is you. There are councils of light that support you. There are healing chambers. I had a near-death experience, so I have a little grip on this. No one will judge you but you. But you'll look back at your soul plan, at your birth contracts, and if you don't do in this life what you said you were going to do, you won't be happy with you. You won't be. You will wish that your body and your soul had connected more often, and that you'd stayed true to that, and that you'd said, this is the word she's saying, there is no no. You might want to write that down. There is no no. When you come to Earth, the only no's are from the negative people. There is no no. There are only yeses, and there are not yets. Okay? Because if you become a conscious creator, you ultimately, the law of attraction says what I think and feel, I bring into form. So right there, that's a law. The cosmos is promising what I think and feel, I bring into form. So obviously we can't do it overnight. Well, I'm going to take that back. Maybe some of you can do it overnight, but most things will take a little bit of time, to start out and to progress and to evolve and to be successful and create abundance. But the answer really is always yes or not yet. Like we're not quite prepared yet, right, to do that. This is why I say the communication with guides is, I could teach courses all year on that. And in fact, I'm going to teach a whole 4-week class in April on deeper levels of aligning and communicating with the soul, which is deeper level of what we're doing now. So hopefully you guys will come. But it's going to be a 4-week course. But you can't over communicate with spirit. You can't okay, that's too much information. It's not possible. It's all, when you get to that level and you're communicating, you're not going to have very many failures, if any, because you're always listening, and your time, the 24-hour day, will become valuable to your connection to spirit. And you'll just get that hit if you start to go off and do something that's just not serving you, and you won't do it. You just won't, Beth, you had something.
I find that I've studied a lot of things, and I'm quite busy working, but I also want to change my work a bit. And I've done healing modalities for a long time. And I help people now with the movement and all the stuff I do, and some meditation. But I find I think my soul has a lot of talent and gifts I'm not calling on. Okay. And I feel a frustration about that. And at the end of the day, when I work late and I've been running around all over working different things, I am tired. And then I spend my time making healthy food. I have to, really eat well for my body. And so I feel like I'm not able to focus, like you're saying, focus 3-4 hours. I don't have that. But I feel like I don't want to be disappointed when I look back, when I pass
Right.
away. And so I feel, so
But you're open to change, right? You're open
yes,
to use the time you do have to create a higher vibration to where the communications will be different.
yes. And I feel like I'm doing that slowly all along. I just feel there's still much more that I can do or something.
So the key really is going back to the heart multiple times during the day. Just keep going back, and see and feel the coherence you're creating with your soul, with the energy of guidance, with the energy of the yeses in the world, okay?
Okay.
Use the unity breath. If everybody took 30 minutes at the beginning of their day to do these processes, and we'll go over them at the end of the class, but I could just say starting now, make sure that you're in sacred space, and that your house is in sacred space when you leave it. Make sure it's around your car. Make sure we're going to talk about light layers in a bit. Make sure that you've done a unity breath. You've sat and really brought up the light from the earth. You've connected with mom, connected with dad. You brought the energy down from source, and you're radiating core energy. That doesn't take that long. And then
Yeah.
blaze the violet flame throughout the day. Just blaze it, just see yourself in royal purple light. Call in the whales. I mean, all of these are tools that will really enhance your vibration. And isn't that really what all of this is about? Is what your vibration can call back to itself? What we say, what I think and feel, I bring into form. So what you're going to bring into form or manifest on earth is directly related to your vibration. And if you always have a feeling of lack, you always will create lack. And that's
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah, I
simplest way.
don't feel lack all the time.
Good.
I feel good in what I do. I just feel like there could be more. I want to make sure I'm using my potential.
Okay. So I'm just going to say, in every possible way, take the morning and throughout the day, little moments to raise your vibration. And you
Yeah.
will attract differently. New people will walk into your life. They will, because it's like magnetism. The synchronicities will increase, and you'll be in a place to see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To not walk past someone that's, oh my God, you're for me. Yesterday, I was on a call it's about investments, financial stuff. And it's the thing I really don't like, but I do it because we all want money, right? So, and I'm involved in a couple of great things. So I was listening to this guy came on, and he's making so much money, but yet he's really grounded. And I had Pooja sitting here on the stool at that moment, and he looked at her and he said, I think this is what this call is about, is that cat. And here's this multimillionaire, and he's tuning in. He says, she can help me. And I said, yeah, she can help everybody. And he said, I have allergies. I think she's telling me she can help me with my allergies. Here's this guy making $50,000 a day, looking at the cat and getting it. I didn't say a word, He said, I think this call is about me getting your information because you can help me. I mean, he got that on his own. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? I mean, that's just one example. I mean, here's this guy, you'd think he'd be way up in the clouds with the money and all of that. And he's really grounded, So again, no judgment, right? Who knows where you're going to come face to face with somebody where you're going to play a key part and they're going to play a key part. It's just so cool. You're going to have more and more of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought the little piece I didn't share with you was taught to me by Pooja. And then later, about a few years later, I saw Doreen Virchow wrote a book, and the thing I'm going to call Light Layers was in her book. It's the only other place I've seen it. It may be out there. But we were driving back and forth a couple times a week from Baja, Mexico, to San Diego. And she said, I'm not going to get in a car that's made out of metal that's hurtling forward at 70 miles an hour without light layers around this car. And she would scream hit a high-pitched note if I forgot to do the light layers. So I put it into my movie, and it takes only seconds to spin light around your car, around your body. You don't really need to do that in your house if you've got sacred space, because you're already protected. You're already isolated in your beautiful bubble. But I want to show you this little tool. And for those that already know it, just go deeper. Really works.
Ascension tool number 3, light layers. Master Pooja has taught me a wonderful and transformational tool for life, and for ascension, we call this tool light layers. We use it to create a sacred space around ourselves and always use it before we go out into the world to interact with others. Begin by surrounding yourself in many layers of divine, white, golden light. Pick a number that resonates for you and envision yourself being wrapped and blanketed in the highest vibrational light that you can summon from the divine. Ask Creator to expand you and lovingly raise your vibration as you layer yourself in divine white light with golden specks. And now, expand even more, summoning and spinning many layers of beautiful pink light from the heart. And then spin many layers of beautiful green healing light. And now, surrounding yourself in layers of the violet flame for healing and clearing lower or negative energies. And complete your meditation by spinning beautiful rainbow light, all colors and spectrums combined. You are consciously connecting to your master guides, to the fairies, to the elementals, to the angels, and to your higher self. Enjoy this feeling of being loved and protected with many layers of color and light. One of our favorite techniques is to use the magical number of 144,000 layers of each color of light as we prepare for our day and go out into the world.
So that's kind of fun. Anybody already using light layers? Good, Heather. Nice, huh? It works. Gives you a lot of room on the freeway. Always find a parking spot. I just do it so fast too. I've just got it down to like I'm backing out of the driveway. I go white light, pink light, green light, blue light, and then I see myself in an orb of violet flame like around the car. And then I do 144,000 layers of rainbow light and I spin it like a barber pole up around the orb, you know. Heather.
Lori, do you mind taking a second to talk about the 144,000 layers?
No. That number resonates for me, and it resonates, I think, you know, throughout history in different texts, particularly religious texts. Okay, let's go back. So when you study DNA, and my study of DNA is mainly through dolphins and whales, is we're taught that we have 12, they teach us that we have 12 strands of DNA, which is the Avatar blueprint that we have that from. And that's going to be part of our last channel today where we talk about the starseed experiment. So right now, most people think they have 2 strands of DNA because that's all science has really been able to document. But they're actually 12. And a whole lot of my work and my school is about that. So within the 12 strands of DNA, each strand has 12 substrands. Okay, and that connects to the telomeres, you know, which are part of the anti-aging process as you use to work with them. So 12 times 12 is 144. So that's where the Avatar blueprint comes from, is the 144. And I think throughout history, there's still people that believe that only some amount of people will be saved when the ascension comes. There's some belief system out there. Well, it comes from the DNA. And I think it's a myth because, of course, we're already saved because we're already all children of God, so to speak. No one's going to be left behind. It's a matter of what you do with it or what your next step is. So I want you to think of everybody, even the darkest of the dark are equally loved. No one is loved more than another. But the souls that are doing the work, that have woken up and are doing the work, are certainly the trusted souls. They get the most attention, I guess you'd say. They get the biggest teams of workers, the more angels, because they know we're going to do something powerful with the team that we have. They can count on us, okay, to do, I'm going to say, the groundwork here, ground crew. Okay. Is that helpful, Heather? Okay, good. All right. Anybody else before we move on? Try it. You'll like it. Light layers.
Hey,
Oh, I'll come back if somebody had something. Hold on. Somebody had a question? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned about judging ourselves when we make our transition. I just wanted to talk and hear a little bit more about that because, we also have free will. And I feel like I've changed so much, particularly after 2012, and I've changed since listening to Cryon. I feel like I've changed a lot since my head injury. And it's almost like who I was, and it kind of feels like to me, who I was and what I was supposed to do might not be right for me now. And I almost feel like I need to say no to a part of that in order to say yes to something bigger and brighter of what I, in my heart, really want to do now. And I'm okay with that because if I don't do that and don't do what's true to me, even if there's some, scroll that says, okay, you were born on such and such a day and you were supposed to do this, I think it's different now.
I want to get you out of the words have to and get you
Okay.
into the words get to.
Get to, okay.
Okay, so I want you to think of everything that I spoke of that you designed before you're born as a potential. There's no way you could do everything that you would have set into motion as possibilities because there are multiple layers of potentials depending on where the free will zone goes. So, and I've had the same question you have right now, and I'm going to tell you what Seth has told me. Seth has said, I want you to think of a very advanced computer game with the most advanced software you can imagine. And every time you play the game, the software navigates the game, but yet there's multi-million opportunities to play the game differently with the software that's given. But yet, there's certain things you can't do with the software. There's a limit, like you can't blow up the planet, for example. It's not allowed. Okay, you can do almost anything. I mean, the balance of light and dark in your life is huge. You can swing way into the light. And that's, of course, what they hope you'll do. And you can swing way into the dark and create tons of karma. That's part of the risk of coming here. It's a gamble to come to the planet. Nobody knows, even God, what you're going to do because of free will. And we talked about that last week a little bit, that the planet has two unique opportunities. One is the linear time frame. We all get a 24-hour day. We get the same loop of time, measure of time. Other planets, it's not like that. Okay, they don't have linear time. It's different. Okay, we don't need to talk about it because it's just different. The other thing you get is free will, and you don't have that on other planets. You have some free will, but basically the vibration of those planets is high enough that everybody's already agreed to be a pod player. We're all part of the team. No one would think of going out and hurting someone or messing with, the general consensus that all is well and we're making it better. So here you do have that opportunity. You have the opportunity to really mess up and really hurt the planet and others. Or you can become a light worker and, wake up to your true soul. And that's what we're doing. And this class is connecting to the soul so that all you do is raise the vibration of yourself and others. And that's moving us towards the pathway we said we would do before we came. Everyone said they would do that before they came. Is that helpful?
It is. When you said potential, that clicked in. That
Okay,
helped.
and think of it as the software. The software is designed to let you have all these experiences. And again, I'm going to say, God doesn't even know what you're going to do because of free will. That's how trusted you are. And no one can take that free will away. The Pleiadians and the Arcturians actually protect it. There would be beings right now that would come here and they would land, and they did it before, and they would enslave us. And some of us would be taken to other planets, others would mine the gold, and we would have our free will taken away as slaves, right? But other off-world beings that are benevolent protect us from that because they know we're still in our innocence here. We're in amnesia, waking up. So that you can play in the free will zone according to your own heart, to your own design. You're the designer. So remember, we started this class by saying, are you a conscious creator or are you an unconscious creator? Or are you somewhere in the middle? The goal is to become conscious of every thought, every word, every deed, and then you never waver. How many think they're close to that? Can't see all the hands, but okay, good. So if you have a negative thought or you have a judgment, do you find yourself stopping and going, wait a minute, I don't want to feel that. I'm going to change that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Right a minute, you feel like, it's almost like putting your hands in the mud. And I don't want to be disrespectful of mud, but you know what I mean? You're like, ugh, that didn't feel good.
Yep, that helps. Thank you.
Okay, good, good. Okay, everybody mute for a minute and let's look at another little thing I've prepared here. Oh, that's the wrong chart. Okay, so here's a document that's kind of been edited by me. I want to share with you some of my favorite tips and suggestions that can help you to connect with your purpose. I found that the key to unlocking your intuitive gifts and coming into alignment with your soul's purpose is connecting with your own higher guidance. Because once you're able to receive clear guidance for yourself, not only will you be able to use your intuitive gifts to support and empower you on your own journey and in aligning with your purpose, but you'll also act as a guiding light to others. So what's the easiest way to really tap into your own higher guidance and connect with your purpose? For me, it's been the discovery, as we've talked about, of living in the heart, thinking, feeling, and then guided action from the heart. We have to think it, right? And then you get, as soon as you think something, there should be something happening in your body now. You go, wait, I'm going to go back to my heart because I don't want to spend one more minute thinking about this until I find out what my body feels about it, what my soul feels about it. How does it feel? You know, there's an old saying, if it feels good, do it. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. And that's so true. But how many people go from thinking to feeling before they go to the action? And of course, that action then would be unguided. So think, feel, and then guide. Guided action is like a little chart for you. The heart is the key to everything. Discuss mind over heart communication. Well, I think we have. I mean, use the arc, use the elevator, have the wherewithal to get out of your mind, especially if it's negative or it's judgmental or it's competitive or it's destructive. Just don't do it. Solution energy lives in your heart 24/7 and it comes without karma. This is so huge. I mean, it's so huge that I'm going to say you probably can't really get it. And so maybe I'm not even getting all of it. And I've been working with that. No karma. Everything that you create from your heart is this word, sustainable. And isn't that what you want? You want everything that you do to be here for the next generation. And you want it to help the planet. You want it to be sustainable. It'll still be there tomorrow. The waves of light that you create today will still be going out there tomorrow, and out and out and out. Here's a little story. When I had my near-death experience, one of the things that stuck with me when I came back is I was like a 6 or 7-year-old child. I can still see it. I lived in a little town of 800 people, and I was in the little grocery store on Main Street with my father. My father had a bakery across the street, and we walked across the street, and he's holding my hand. We go into the grocery store, and we're checking out the food. You know, we're buying the food. My dad did most of the cooking. And so I'm standing there, and I'm looking at the lady, and I can still remember her name. I'm not going to say it, but she was grumpy. Everybody knew her as the grumpy lady, you know. And I looked at her, and I mean, I really looked at her, and I smiled. And I just gave her my like little girl smile, you know. And my thought was when I smiled at her is I hope she smiles back. I hope I could cheer her up, you know. And I did. She smiled back. Okay, and that was in my near-death experience, is that I saw that smile, how it affected someone. And then she went home and smiled at her husband, and her husband didn't expect that. And the next day she smiled at more people. And, you know, just that one little thing I did kept rippling out through that one smile. Try to connect to that and feel that in your own life. Okay? Retraining yourself to continue to return to the heart, surrender the mind. Okay, I'll say that 1,000 times. The number one thing to remember is that there's a reason why you have had the unique experiences you've had in your life. Okay, so the darkest, most painful, life-threatening thing that's happened to you serves you now, because your soul actually used everything it had to design that experience based on the free will that you put it through. Okay, to bring it to be something that could teach you, could help you. And I come back to Master Buddha's quote, is in every moment of your life, you're either teaching what to do or what not to do, but you're learning from both. Okay, that's one of the beauties of the universe. It can take the darkest thing and turn it around and teach you something that you really need. So contemplate these ideas. You might like to journal or meditate on these to help you understand how these key ideas can give you clues to help you connect deeper with your purpose. All of your life experiences have been preparing you to align with and embody your soul's purpose, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Somehow your purpose is always there. And if you look into even the worst, darkest experience, you're going to find it. I know you will if you haven't already. You will probably not align with your higher purpose until you are prepared to get out of your comfort zone and stretch yourself. This takes a lot of faith, following your intuition, and taking action and risks. Okay? Not so much sitting on the couch, right? And to get out there and do it. Send the letter, make the phone call, go out to the meeting. Put yourself out there. Many times I have found that our greatest gifts are hiding behind our fears. We talked about that last week. Think of fear as a soap bubble. Why not put your finger up there and pop it? Remember that fear is the absence of love. It is constriction. Love is expansion. Which do you want? So, okay, so my partner's stopping me. She's saying, everyone think of something you're afraid of, because believe me, we all have them. Just think of something you're afraid of. Or something that you'll say, I'll never do blank. Just for a moment, consider popping the bubble and doing it. I'm not saying you will, or you have to, or it's required. I'm just saying, think of something that might be easier than you think to overcome. It's an exercise in faith just to even ponder it, you know? Okay? And if you decide to actually do one, especially a big one, you know, have some friends with you. Get some support as you go through it, whatever that is. Maybe it's jumping out of a plane. Who knows? Maybe it's applying for a new job. Get your team around you, both physical and non-physical, to help you go through it. Okay? You'd be surprised. How can you put yourself forward and step out of your comfort zone? What divinely inspired actions can you take to help move you forward? Well, that's kind of what I just said, except it doesn't have to be centered around fear. It could be centered around love. I mean, there could be things right now that you absolutely know you're going to do. You just haven't done them yet. So this is about moving you more into the guided action part of actually doing it. Instead of saying, I'll do that next year, or I'll do that next month, or I'll do that on Sunday. How about like sooner, move it up? And that's honoring the time frame of the earth, that's all. Just making it, you know, your life better. More clues to your higher purpose are most likely to be found in three things, okay? Maybe you already know this, but one is pain, addictions, entities, death of a loved one, weight, bullied, divorce, money issues, all can cause us pain. So maybe you can think of one of those things that has happened to you that has moved you closer to your higher purpose because you've decided. It's sort of like when Buddha says, go to the buffet and you tried a whole lot of foods that you absolutely don't like. And you know you'll never try those foods again, but at least you put yourself out there and you came to the point of saying, I don't want that again. That's a small version of what we're talking about here. So I don't want to be overweight. I don't want to be bullied. I don't want to be in a relationship where there would be a divorce. Okay? I don't want to be an alcoholic. And maybe it's because you've seen someone, or maybe you've done it. Okay. Number two, something you feel passionately about, a cause, a sport, an activity. A key to your higher purpose is always going to be passion. Always. And it might be something you're taking for granted. You might just think of it as a hobby, or even a hobby that you used to do. Okay. So it's going to take a bit of an act of faith to move that center point to where you decide that sport, that activity, that cause, that project is now something, wow, I feel more passion for that than I thought I did. Okay. If we think about the future, we think about the things that we take for granted or that we hardly ever do that are centered around light, you know. I mean, I'm just thinking of some people who just put attention on it on Sundays. What if we did that every day? And even just for a little while, we put attention onto something with light, whether it's, you know, church or an activity or a spiritual group of people that you get together. What if we did a little more of that every day? And then it started to move that particular thing into focus to where something that could become part-time for you, could become, you know, a very abundant project. It could be a career, it could be a new relationship. But you have to move it with the passion to a place of focus. Okay, this is the big one. Most people can do this, a natural talent that you have, painting, writing, networking, business. Think back, often it's something you dreamed of as a child, or maybe even you did as a young person. I'm fortunate in that way because I can trace the work I'm doing now back to, again, spending most of my life on a horse, playing with dogs and cats in the yard. You know, animals were always first for me. When I came home from school, the first thing I wanted to do was get to my horse. Or, you know, go for a walk with my dog, which, you know, later surfaced as veterinary school, and then, you know, doing the work I do now as an animal communicator. Okay, so however it happened for you or is yet to happen for you, it was there when you were a child. Another important way you can empower yourself is to come into greater alignment with your higher purposes, to look at how the relationships in your life contribute to your higher purpose. So let's take the ones that would be considered husbands and wives or life partners. Does that person support you in either achieving your higher purpose or finding it, or both? And if they don't, then take a look at that. And then the other thing is, do you support them in their life purpose, or are we just supporting them in a job that's paying the bills where they're not happy? Something to look at, because if you can give it, then you can receive it. Or if you can receive it, you can give it. It should be a two-way street. You know, they say in the higher realms, all relationships that would be considered marriage are for people that have no needs. They're not needy in any way. They're just supportive. In other words, they'd just be fine by themselves, but yet they have achieved a certain level of mastery and now they want to share it. So they come together in a relationship where they have a lot to share, and they don't have, you know, I mean, they don't have any needs. Here on Earth, I think a lot of people get married because they think they need someone to do something for them. And that's really, you know, not going to work. At least it's not going to work very well. The old paradigm was the father would go out and work and the mother would stay home and raise the kids. Well, that isn't always the way it goes, is it? And it isn't always the way it's supposed to be. So I think you're getting the picture there. So take a look at that. And then take a look at the sibling relationships you have and the friends. What about the coworkers at work? Can you improve your relationship with them by directing whatever it is you do together more towards both of your higher purpose? And stop spending time talking about, I don't know, things that just don't matter. Okay? Every family member, partner, friend, or significant person or pet in your life is playing a role in your divine drama, because it's the frequency of your programming which is driving the interactions with everyone around you, and that gives you the power to identify how your significant relationships are teaching and guiding you to greater soul growth. So take a moment and just go within and think of the people, first in family, then friends, then coworkers, the animals in your life. If you're not in your heart, drop into the heart and just take a moment. Maybe you want to write something down that will later, you know, I'm going to call Susie and ask her to do this, or I'm going to spend more time with my dog tonight, you know. These relationships are the fruit of how you choose to share love or not to. Sharing love is what makes it real on Earth. So should you have a relationship where you don't share love? No, no, there should be a way to share some kind of love in every single relationship in a perfect world. So I'm sure by now you're realizing there may be places where you can step forward, even if it's just something so simple as, you know, and not lying, but something as, you look really pretty today, or, you know, I really like your tie, or, you know, that report you turned in, wow, that was really motivational for me. You know, I mean, you're not going to lie, but you're going to look for ways to support someone, to compliment them, to lift them up, and that will come back to you. And your soul will be so happy that you're recognizing the other people and what they're there to do too. Okay? Contemplate or meditate on the following ideas. It's usually difficult, intense relationships which are catalysts to much enlightenment. These will either be karmic connections, soulmates, or in some cases, twin flames. Which relationships do you find most challenging, difficult, or intense? Okay, so I'm going to say this is still true, but it's weeding, you know, it's kind of weaning its way out. For people who are really involved now in being a light worker, I'd like to say this is just about over. There's just not going to be that much of it anymore, because you've already done that work. And your relationships now are really going to be built on love. The karma is coming to completion. Only you know if that's true, if you've done a lot of that. However, you might find yourself helping other people with their karmic relationships, being supportive as they go through theirs. These difficult, intense relationships contain much alchemy. Working through them can quite literally transform your life and help bring your gifts and higher purpose online. Unless the relationship is very abusive, then don't run away from it. If it is going to end, it's best for you to do your best to release the triggers before you leave rather than after. True though, you will need a willing partner to process the relationship as it ends. Sometimes this can lead to friendship and a deeper meaning of why you were guided to come together. That would be perfect right there if everyone could do that. Could really take a look and say, you know, we're not growing together anymore, you know. We don't have the same interests anymore. It's more, you know, a job or painful to be with you, I'm sorry, than it is to be happy with you. So, you know, I think that we have to move in different directions now. And see, that's very much in alignment with your soul's purpose. You're not necessarily supposed to be with the same groups of people or same individuals as you grow and change. And again, this will come more and more easily for you as you communicate with your guides. Guides will they'll help you. They really will help you with the relationships. They'll guide you, you know, easily more away from others and to others that are going to be your new relationships. Either way, commit to raising your consciousness regarding the relationship issues and gifts. Do the inner work yourself first. Decide not to fight or argue so that you can open to the truth of what wounds may be being triggered for healing by this relationship and what gifts lie beyond the healing. So that's the big one, right? It takes two to fight. Decide not to. If there's a tendency to fight, you have to leave the room. If you can't handle it, just leave. Come back at another time when you're calm, when you're both calm. Or start working through maybe written responses until you can be in the same room together. But it takes two to tango, so you have to be strong enough not to fight or not to argue. Often relationships can be mirrors for us to see the deeper part of ourselves. This gives you the opportunity to evolve and not repeat the same lesson over and over in different ways. So true. Ultimately, once we have done the steps to finding our truth, we can go within to really listen to the advice of your soul and your guide team will have. Then you can come to asking again, what guided action steps can we commit to now? Keyword guided. What did your guide say about action steps? Not what did you say in your physical body? What guided actions that, you know, these are preconceived. They're already set out. You've thought about them before you do them. Okay? Is that helpful? A lot of information. Somebody tell me if I told you, I can't remember, last week about what happened to me on American Airlines plane coming back from Cancun. Did I tell you that story? Yeah. Okay. It's coming back to me about the lady that kept telling me to put the tray table up. And I just heard my guide kept saying, no, don't put the tray table up. It's not against the rules. You're not breaking any rules. Just stay in. But there was a part of me that was, you know, wanting to be triggered by her. And Buddha kept saying, this isn't your stuff. This is her. You're being an example. So hold your power. Don't get mad. She's doing the best she can. So now you do the best you can, you know. So, okay. Any comments, questions about what we just talked about? It's a lot. Heather.
Will you send us a copy of this?
Yeah. Let me make a note there. I'll forget. I can include it in when I send out the recording of this class through Hightail, I can include this document, yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it's worth pondering, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to journal on those things that you suggested journaling on.
Okay, let me look at what it is just real quick. It was, this particular one is connecting with your soul's purpose. Buddha's saying also she wants to send you the 0.1. So you'll get that too. Yeah. So hopefully you're getting, you know, a little bit of what this is really about in the sense of like the soul's purpose. The soul's purpose, I'd say 80-90% is about relationships. You know, you didn't come here to sit alone in a room. I mean, you came here to have some alone time, yes, and meditate and grow and learn and expand yourself and have some privacy. But you mostly came here to interact with others and do something powerful with it. You didn't come here to fight, okay? So what the relationships are so worth examining. And in the classes I'm talking about in in April that I'm going to do. We're actually going to go in and target different emotions that are in your body and teach you a deeper process. One of them, Heather, is the layer 2 of the DNA, because you just can't overdose on that. Going into the triggers and the blocks, and then watching it resolve as soon as that person's forgiven. You know, the power of forgiveness is something else. Yeah. So there's always more, and I think our world right now, especially as light workers are concerned, are coming to the point of wanting to do emotional decoding, using the emotions to decode everything that's negative, and as opposed to try to fight through them or store them on the grid until next life. You know, we really do want to get to the core of that. Can you think of an example? I'm going to say my first marriage, I was 18 years old, and then I divorced when I was 23. Was well, I guess I would say it would be a huge mistake, but then looking back at it, you know, he was physically abusive, and in those years, this was, let's see, how year did I get married? I think 1977. That time period, there wasn't help for people that are mentally abusive, schizophrenic or whatever. I would have to say he was schizophrenic, and of course, I didn't know that, or if I did, I didn't really see it in the way that it would become a huge problem, and that he would like beat me up, and then he'd come over and say, "I'm sorry, can I help you up?" or throw me across the room, and not remember it, or at least he said he didn't remember it, you know, that kind of thing. And why on earth would someone stay for 5 years for that? I don't know. But the point is, later people would say to me, "So sorry that you had this horrible marriage. I'm so sorry that Bob beat you up, and you know, we should have been there to help you." But you know, I didn't tell anybody. I was just embarrassed. I had the belief system, and he wanted me to have it, which was, this is my fault. And raised Christian, so you marry forever, and if anything goes wrong, you stay in your private home and you fix it. There was no really marriage counseling in the sense of, didn't come to me to get help. I just drew further and further within. I remember one time hiding in the closet when he came home, and I hoped he'd just go to bed. That's really sad, isn't it, when you think about that? But yet later, after I went through it, people would say, "Oh, how awful that is for you." And they try to bring it up again, and they meant well. But what I found myself saying is, you know, no one dragged me to the altar. There were no whips and chains. I could have left at any time. So whatever I went through seems to have some purpose now, and I'm not mad at him anymore. I'm not angry. I wish him the best, but I also don't need to see him again. You know, I don't think we're going to get together and have lunch or anything, you know. In fact, I have never seen him again since the day we signed the papers. And I'm fine with that, but I do wish him well. So that's my personal example of the worst thing that happened to me and how it turned around when I realized I had free will the whole time. I didn't access it though. So have you got a situation like that that maybe hasn't been completely released yet, or where you're still blaming you or someone else for what happened, where you were actually co-creating something with someone else? There are no predators. There are no victims. There is conscious and unconscious creations through free will. Okay. Good. Okay, I think it's a good time for a break. Let's take a 10-minute break. Use the restroom, get some water. It's 2:30, so we'll come back at 2:40 Pacific time. Okay. We're back after the break. Everyone say hi. Can you say hi, everybody? I know you. Good girl. And we're going to look at a little chart here. Earlier we mentioned the power of balance. I thought this was really good. Sometimes we don't know where the gaps are or even where the strengths are until we kind of take a look at everything. Also, if you don't know the power of the words I am, I would share with you that if you use that in your life more often than not, it will really assist you. Of course, the key words are I am that I am. To declare yourself, you know, a spiritual being. So take a look at this. Time doesn't really allow us to, you know, to go into a lot of detail, but we can certainly go around and just, you know, at a glance, we can maybe see some of the things that we'd really like to work on. And if you think of these topics as a piece of pie in your overall soul's plan, you know, your soul's ignition, And of course, living the soul's dream means being at some level successful in all of these topics. So let's start on the left side and let's go around from I am, awareness of self. I am aware, appearance and outward personality. Let's go down to I have, as far as personal resources. I have money, I have possessions, I have value, and I have a skill set. And then number 3, I think, my immediate environment, my mental activity, my learning, my siblings, my communication. And this is actually the part that you want to be aware of, but that you don't want to spend time at. You know, the mind again is a trick. It's definitely a barrier to the heart. So taking note, you know, through the thought process of all of this should lead you right back to the heart. Number 4, I nurture my inner world, my home. I nurture my home. I nurture my parents, my roots. I don't know what that means. In my world, that would mean the star family, which we're going to talk about more than the biological family. Inner security, whatever that is for you. Yeah, I do think the home, though. I mean, I think if I were to quote Buddha, she would say that your home is your temple. And even if you share it with other beings, there should be a part of the home that's specifically yours. Even if it's just your room, where that is where your sanctuary is. And this is where the vibration is very high. Should not have a television, okay? Should have, you know, maybe candles and flowers and crystals and, you know, posters or things that are really beautiful that would never bring in a negative vibration to your sanctuary. Place of meditation, a place of sleep, a place of, you know, joy. Okay. Next one, number 5, I serve my personal creativity, romance, children, fun, creativity. Now, we haven't talked much about children, but boy, one great way to raise your vibration is spend time with the young ones. From my perspective, probably because I'm not a physical parent, is when I spend time with children, I realize I'm in the presence of those that have seen God since I have. They were just home, you know, and asking children metaphysical questions can be really fun because they'll surprise you with their answers because they're not completely anesthetized yet by the earth, you know. A lot of the children will tell you where they're from, what they're here to do, and they'll say the most incredible things that are really authentic. So, encourage you to explore that with your own kids and other people's kids. And absolutely, of course, tying all of that into creativity, which is the passion of the soul. The next one is I serve my daily life, my work, my health, service, self-improvement. Okay? I think we all have that, and we can all, like we've talked about, work to improve that area of our lives. And I partner, awareness of others, marriage and other partnerships. This is where we just left off with the incredible power of relationships, how they can really add into your life or take away. I circulate shared resources, sex, death, letting go, regeneration, other people's money, sharing. So think of a way as you say, I circulate shared resources and turn that back to the heart and find the way to use the word love in how I share resources. If I went to, okay, I'm thinking of a funeral. I went to, it turned out to be a celebration of life. And I went to support a good friend of mine, her son killed himself. And I thought that because the family is Christian, she's not, but the family is, it was going to be really dark and, you know, people are going to talk about hell and all of that. They did it. It was truly a celebration of this boy's life. And I was lovingly surprised. And I was so glad that I went, you know, and added my energy. Anyway, you're getting the idea. I explore expanded horizons, higher education, philosophy, publishing, religion, travel, law, metaphysics, my higher callings. Okay. I could probably rewrite this, but I'm liking it, you know, the way it is. It's kind of standard, but it works. I achieve outer world, career, status, reputation, vocational, purpose, taking power. Taking power is stepping into your I am presence. It's being who you really are. without letting anybody talk you out of it. It's feeling very worthy, very powerful in the sense of, I am carrying light and I'm going to do good things with it. I think, again, when it's all said and done, you want a reputation for someone who spread a lot of light, that was always known for a smile, always known for a compliment. Maybe you're known for the jokes you tell, but always for bringing levity to the situation. Next part, I aspire. Group contribution, friends, groups, goals, and aspirations. Absolutely. Yeah, some of us are more tuned to a smaller group of friends, or maybe just one or two. I would say at this particular time in history, try to extend that. Even if the friends that you make now aren't able to maybe sit next to you in the sense of vibration or keep up with you, you can still be their friend and add to them if you're willing. And you can learn things from them too. You can get a sense of where the pulse of society is. And if you already have a large group of friends, maybe you can tune in more to a few that need your help right now. Okay. I dream spiritual lives, solitude, institutions, transcendence, and self-sabotage. Okay, so self-sabotage has been huge in I think most of our lives. We've all had a path of wonderment, a path of great desire, enlightenment, and then we've set up something that stopped us because we didn't feel worthy, or we didn't follow through. We didn't get to that place where I call guided action was possible. And so now it's time to go back and do that, to not self-sabotage ourselves through lack of faith or lack of confidence. Okay, we go within, we go into the heart, and there is the solution energy. Next one, we did that. Awareness of self, appearance, outward personality. So I would encourage you, I'll send you this, to use it to make some notes about areas you're strong, areas you're weak, and areas that you make a conscious effort to work on, so that each piece of pie has some balance to it, bringing light. Okay, I'll open up, see if you guys have any comments about that. Can see some smiles, that's good. Is that helpful? Good. Jennifer.
The astrology wheel. But I didn't see it as sort of looking at it that way.
Yeah. Astrology, I think, has its purpose. I know a couple people that do what they call quantum astrology, and they're recognized by Cryon. They have some interesting things to say. It's not my expertise by any sense of the word, though, because I've lived with an animal that said, "Don't you think you're more powerful than the gravitational field of a planet?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sure." He says she's not influenced by her. I think part of that's a joke, but part of it's, she's got a point too. People that get up and they can't move forward until they read their astrological forecast, that would be, not being worthy, I guess you'd say, that you'd need advice from something outside of yourself. Not good. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to share some more. You need to get in the creative space of opening up your imagination for your life path potentials. And so I kind of titled this 2020, so we can just take a look at the year ahead. Okay, as we go into this, remember at least 80% of your spiritual growth lies in not chasing the light and going after activations. That it's about digging into the shadows, clearing the karma, clearing the density. The light will organically come to you when you create space for it. So never forget the power of using the violet flame to clear yourself every day, your home, your property of lower and negative energies. Also, as we talked about, connecting to the wells, who are the elders. When we play well sounds, we receive that frequency of clearing and healing, and it penetrates your whole house. So the wells always say, ask and you will receive. So clearing should be a part of your day, not a part of your week or month. It should be every day. Questions to ponder, and you may want to you may want to journal here, or write something down, or make a comment. Have you already decided in 2020 one or more things that you want to do with your talents, gifts, and abilities? Have you set an intention, or maybe you're in the progress of expanding an intention. I think Jean talked about that in her life, and we'll come back to people being able to comment, because this is huge. What will I decide to do with my creative potential? I'd like everybody to at least think of one thing, and if not, we're going to help you. Okay. What difference will I make in the world? And not just like a general thing. I'd like you to think of something specific, like, I'll try to bring in just one of mine. Okay, so just an example. I have a nonprofit organization that I formed, California 501(c), and we have a board of directors. It's called Dolphins Love Kids. You can go to dolphinslovekids.org if you like, and you can donate money. And that money is used to put children and teenagers on boats to go out and see dolphins and whales. Because the dolphins and whales have asked me to do this. Not only that, I see that even one trip to see dolphins in the physical, or whales, will change that person's life. Enough of their DNA will be uncoded or recoded, I guess you would say, that will make a difference in their life. And the young people are immediately telepathic with the dolphins. So I teach them a couple of communications to go out in the world and then come back and do it with the dolphins. And when we get off the boat, I ask them, what did the dolphins tell you? And the stuff that they say is so amazing. I mean, even the little kids, they'll just say the most amazing things. One little boy recently said to me, the dolphins told me I could never, ever, ever, ever say a bad word. Others, like this teenage boy, he got off and the dolphins told him to go and audition in his school for a play that was happening. And he was having trouble just getting up the courage to go audition for the play. He went and auditioned and he got the lead. And it changed his whole culture, I guess you'd say, his status in school and the way he felt about himself. And so he came back and was like a testimonial on another trip. So my thing that I'd like to do is put more time and energy into this program. I'm taking it to Hawaii in February, and I'm going to give like 20 kids and teenagers that live in, rural Hawaiian kids an opportunity to go out and snorkel and swim with the dolphins. And I only found out by people that live there that they don't really get that opportunity. There's tons of kids that have never been out to swim with the dolphins that live there because their parents have taken them. So I'm really excited about that, but I want to be more dedicated to the program. I want to see it grow. I want to get more volunteers and take it to different parts of the world where I can create this opportunity for kids in different locations. So that's just one of the things I want to do where I know it will make a difference. So you think of something and write it down that I would like to do, that you want to do. It doesn't have to be big. Okay? What will I leave behind that will touch other people's lives in some long way after I'm gone? That's a big one. Who knows? And after we go through this, we're going to come back and I want you guys to comment. So what are my divine gifts and talents? And don't be shy about this. It's okay to lift yourself up and say the things you're really good at. Maybe you're a good teacher. Maybe you're a good parent. Maybe you're a good friend. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you're a public speaker. Maybe you're a writer. Maybe you're a dancer. There's many gifts, but you need to own them. Now, who am I here to serve? Because, realistically, yes, you're here to serve the planet. Yes, you're here to serve humanity, but there might be a target audience. Like I just mentioned, one of my target audiences is kids and teens with the Dolphins Love Kids program. Another one of my target audiences is people who are on a metaphysical path like you guys are, where I can share what I've been given with you. And then you can share it with others. And we can grow together. So write something down there. What is a big problem that I'm going to solve because of my unique life experience? What is a big problem? Thing that first comes to mind for me is I'm going to teach more people this year about how to go into the heart and the huge difference it makes when we live and create from the heart. I will give more people our movie. I think I mentioned to you guys that if you don't already have our movie, it's free. All you have to do is write to me and we'll send it to you. It's called Ascension Guidance, and you've been seeing some clips from it. What is my legacy? It's probably more than one thing. Write something down though. I think in my world, I would have to say the thing I've been doing the longest is more people probably know me as an animal communicator than they do as a healer or a teacher. Not sure. And I know that that's part of what I'll leave behind. It's part of what our book is about. Write something down. I believe that the consciousness coming to our planet will continue to wake people up to their divine potential and support those who are walking the path of selfless service. I really do. More consciousness is coming every day. Comes, if you're wondering about that, you know, the solar codes, the light that comes from the sun to our planet is the awakening mode that spirit uses. And many of the codes are buried in the earth. They're in vortals and vortexes and time capsules, I guess you would say, that are being awakened now. Some of them are in the land, some are in the ocean. But the solar codes are the activations. So that was why I wanted you last week to specifically go out and look at the sun and to spend some time in the sun to really have that trigger, you know, I mean, that trigger being a good trigger to be activated. Okay. Who wants to share? Kaz. You have to unmute. Yeah, there you go.
I have no idea what my divine talents and gifts are. For my legacy, I've already been in contact with Northern Lights Wildlife Society, who rescue baby bear cubs, fawns, moose calves, and any other animal that they can get their hands on, and they give them a second chance in life. So I've told them that when I decide to cross over, my house is to be sold, and whatever money it gets in sale, as long as there's no more debts, they will be getting the money from the sale of the house.
That's wonderful.
And
you don't know about your gifts. What is it that you like to do?
well, I love gardening.
Okay. Wouldn't you say that's a gift?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
And
I think so.
I just thought of 25 pounds of paramagnetic soil to put some around the plants. And I only use organic liquid fertilizers, but I've ordered some azomite, which is supposed to be a really top-notch organic fertilizer with about 70 different minerals that's good for plants.
Are you guys getting the picture of a good gardener here?
But I can only obviously do that in the spring, summer, and early fall.
Still.
But I do reconnective healing, but I haven't had
another
that
talent.
many clients. But when I facilitate a session with them, I've never had the miraculous healings that Eric Pearl says he's had. So I don't know what's blocking me there. And yeah.
Well, I don't think you should compare yourself to Eric, for starters. I think you should, one of the blocks might be the comparison itself.
Well, it's not only Eric, but a lot of other people that are in the reconnecting.
Yeah, I know about it. Yeah, and I have lots of friends.
They all get all these miraculous healings but I don't know if I must be doing something wrong, or I can't get myself into the zone. And
So your expectation has limitations in the sense of this is how it's supposed to be. What if your path is different and that it's supposed to be that way so that you have that evolution or that strength behind the way it evolves uniquely for you?
Like they've got a course going on at the moment every Monday from 4:30 till 6 p.m. of a night. It's called Living in the Frequencies. I didn't attend the first session, but I watched it online, the replay, but I'm glad I didn't go there because it wasn't too much. It was more annoying watching the first session than it was. So I'll be joining them on Monday, but when I go to Costa Rica, they'll have to just send me the replays and I'll have to watch them when I go home. But yeah, I'm just wondering how much longer is it going to take for me to finally wake up and realize all my talents and gifts.
Okay, so here's Buddha. Here's what she's saying. She'll relax you. Doesn't have a care in the world. Look at it. Go relax. So try that. Try coming into such a relaxed state that you let go of your expectations and that you let it flow in a way it's a demonstration of your faith. It's a demonstration of what your desires are, but that you're not putting conditions on it, that you're letting it happen in a way that's perfect and right for you. She's saying you're doing a little bit of self-sabotage by saying this is how it has to go. Spirit isn't going to listen to you and your body. Your spirit's going to listen to your soul. And as we communicate more with the soul, which this class is about, you're going to know that all is well and that you'll be delightfully surprised as things just pop in instead of saying it has to be like this now, and that you're judging yourself by that, and instead of letting it flow, so to speak.
When I was in Los Angeles, when I did my level 1 and level 2, they shoved me up on the stage in front of everybody. So I turned my back to the audience, like everybody was doing a session. And I didn't know who I was working on. All I did was that when I was standing on the stage was close my eyes and say, this session, I choose to facilitate this session for the woman in the red shirt's husband. Because I didn't even know her name, let alone her husband's name.
Okay.
The next day, when she come back, I said, so what did your husband say? And she reeled off all this stuff that her husband said happened during the so-called distance healing session that I facilitated for him. But I find, like, when I'm in the energy of a group, then I can do more stuff. But when I'm just on my own, I don't seem to be able to get into that zone or feel the energy like I do when I'm in a large group of people doing the same thing.
Okay. Is that true of a class like this? Do you feel more happening in the class than you do when you do it on your own?
Yes, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's pretty common. I mean, there is power in the energy of a group, but there's power in you too. Buddha's saying that you're a better giver than you are a receiver.
Yep.
And that finding balance in that will help you, but you have to release your expectations of how spirit is going to bring it to you. You have to move into faith and into the heart and be delightfully, it's the innocence of the child. You know, like when we do the whale work and you go into the eye as an innocent child and just let it be what it's going to be. You can have an expectation for your own healing, but you have to let it happen in the way that spirit will deliver it to you and that the higher beings like the whales will deliver it to you.
Yeah, I have a hard time, like, pretending that I'm a little kid because, you know, I'm 62, and when I was a little kid, I was always saying, I wish I could be 21, I wish I could be this age. And, you know, I didn't like enjoying my childhood. So I find it difficult when people say connect childlike. Well, then I've got no idea how to do that. My imagination seems to have gone down the toilet. I used to write poetry. I wrote the eulogy that was given at my mother's funeral. And my father kept saying, why can't you get up and give the eulogy? I said, because, you know, it's my mother that we're talking about and she's laying in the frigging coffin. I can't get up and speak about my mum when she's behind me in the frigging coffin. I wouldn't be able to get through the first sentence.
Well, and you shouldn't have to. Yeah. This is like not listening to other people, for starters. Yeah.
And then somebody told me that my poems were stupid, and I haven't written one since.
Okay, so I shared my story with you. I want you to work on yours. It's called forgiveness. You have to release that. We'll work on that, and I'm working on personal sessions with her. Bring that up too next time. We'll work on sanding that button down. Okay. Forgiveness is key. And sometimes it's harder to see ourselves. Like, this is the first time I've heard you say that it's difficult for you to return to the innocence of a child. That's one of the easiest things for me. I just want to sit around and be 5 all day long and play with.
I'd sort of refer to children as unnecessary noisemakers, and I don't like unnecessary noise or high-pitched squeals that come from my pug. It just feels like it just shatters every nerve in my body.
Okay. But there is an innocence to a child where they have faith and trust that when they're born, that they're going to be cared for because they can't do it for themselves. Same with, well, think of a baby animal then. Think as opposed to a baby child or a young human. They have faith that Mama Cat's going to take care of them. Okay. Think of that. That's an innocence too. That's the energy you want to be in when you ask for healing. I hope that's helpful for everybody. Yeah. Beth, you had a comment?
Yeah, similar to that innocence is that when I was writing down different attributes or whatever I had a long list, but one thing that I wrote down that felt like it came from not me, from my mind, but was joy bringer, which is funny because I feel like I want more joy in my life, and I have been very, in some ways, very serious, and I have like a demanding schedule, and I'm very responsible, and I give to a lot of people. So it's kind of like getting in touch with that inner child. It's like, feeling that joy and joy bringer, even, you know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah.
And I know that, like, sometimes when I teach a class, I can be, make jokes, but so moving more into that, because that felt like something else. Do you have any comments on that?
Go a little deeper. I mean, say it again, but use something that's more personal to describe it.
Well, when I wrote down joy bringer, so that would be, I think, making people happy besides all the other things I know I can do and I'm doing, but touching a certain different place. And I guess finding that with myself, and I guess in a way finding how I can walk around feeling more joy.
What do you like to do? And what are you doing as like for life,
For life, I do all kinds of movement. I work with all ages. I work a lot with seniors. I work with people's bodies. I do some guided meditations, especially with the seniors. But I do a lot of physical stuff. So everything from, working in a gym into teaching all kinds of classes, Pilates, yoga. I do all
joy,
everything.
All of that is bringer of joy. All of that, right?
Yeah, I guess I don't see that as well as I could.
So do you do it to bring them down?
Oh, no, of course not.
That was a dumb question, right?
No, yeah.
Do it to lift them up?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's a bringer of joy.
And everyone feels better, yes.
Everyone feels better. And then you feel better.
Yes.
You feel fulfilled. You feel validated.
Yes.
So I don't want to be negative, but I'm going to say from Pruna's perspective, it says, if you don't know an area that you're contributing to, to bring joy, find one. I mean, surely you can find one. Maybe you don't see, everybody doesn't see yourself in the way you would if you'd see how God looks at you, or you'd see how the angels look at you. With Kaz, it was like, in the time I've known her, she's talked quite a bit about her gardening and about her attention to organic food, organic soil, about environmentalism and all of that. And yet she didn't see that as a gift. She didn't mention that as a gift or part of her life's purpose. That's huge. I'm sorry, I think it is.
Yeah, I think
it is. Okay,
seeing
so
myself that way.
Maybe you don't see the regular stuff as powerful, or as something that's of importance. Maybe those things need to be brought to the forefront.
Right.
Does that make sense? Okay,
Yes.
an example for me would be, I used to communicate with animals all the time. I mean, I'm like all the time, as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult. I never, ever would have said all those years that that's a career, because it wasn't in the manual, so to speak, right? It wasn't in the high school or college manual. Oh, animal communicator. Probably it is now. It certainly is in Europe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's just one example. The things that you're doing, you may not consider them important enough to be considered your contribution or your gifts or your talents, but they are.
Yes,
I'm looking at you, that you're really good with bringing people together, like helping them form relationships and cooperative efforts. Is that true?
Yes. In fact, I forgot to say that one of the things I wrote down was inclusion. Yes, groups and
You're all about, it's like Archangel Metatron is all about organization, and I feel that energy right beside you. So it's all about using the 24-hour day to organize things, but yet in a joyful way.
Okay.
How many people say, I have to organize this, but they hate it? It's tedious to them. They don't want to do it. They don't want to organize something. Yet if someone else organized it for them, they jump in and do their part. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you create parts for people so that they have a job, or they have something that they feel fulfilled in.
Okay, I can look into that more. I can look at that more.
Yeah. So the things, and I know saying it is one thing, really hearing it's another, is what parts of you do you just take for granted? Because they've been your gifts from the beginning. Think about it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just getting to be an example again. One of mine is a gather. In my natural social life, I like to have people over. I like to create groups. I've created soul family groups. I've created classes and workshops and conferences and retreats. And I'm a gatherer. I bring souls together. So together we can do something really great and fun that wouldn't be nearly as much fun if I did it by myself. Also educational, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone doesn't like to do that. I remember one time in my house in Mexico, and I think it was one of my first Christmases down there. I ended up living down there 9 years. And I had all the local Mexican people that were, you know, some Americans too, but because I didn't have my family, I brought them in and made a big turkey and, you know, a big dinner. And this one guy who was a younger guy with his family and his 2 kids, he said to me, "You're the gatherer." And I said, "I am." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "You are. You bring people together." So you wanted to comment, Heather. What was yours?
One of the messages that I keep getting from the whales over and over and over again, working with other light workers, is that just being in other people's presence is, you know, raising the vibration. It's bringing joy. It's improving. We're making a difference just by being. So our gift might be, I mean, sure, we have wonderful gifts, but we need to remember that our gifts may just be showing up, may just be being the people that we are.
Right. Right. Just being authentic and, like you said, coming into a room, you're sharing. Yeah, not to isolate. Right. Yep. Think of any kind of gathering, any kind of class, any kind of get together. It's better if people show up, even if everyone doesn't contribute in the sense of speaking or bringing cookies, you know, just showing up, right? Adding them too. Jean.
That was a great list of questions. Can you send it to us when you send the whole email?
Yeah.
It was overwhelming. I probably need a few hours.
Yeah. Yeah. I put a lot in this too. I mean, more than you probably can really do in the 2 weeks, but yeah, I'll give you the list. And again, I'm going to take this to a whole nother level with a 4-week class in April, I think, where my intention would be for everybody to break through with practice. I'm not going to tell you don't have to practice, to really open that third eye and communicate with your guides. Every single person, I can say this, every single person that's chosen that path to work with me, if they practice, they break through. Never had anybody that practiced and didn't break through. To be able to, oh my God, I can hear now, or I can see it, or I can feel it, you know, to get the good yeses and nos and the questions. Everybody can do it. You just have to. And I always think of the baby that's crawling. Some people will say, that baby's never going to walk. Yeah, the baby is going to walk. It's just going to be in their own time. Right? Some babies walk early. Some babies, I mean, unless there's some damage to your third eye, there's no reason why you can't be telepathic. I don't think anybody has damage to their third eye that I'm aware of, unless you've had brain surgery. Okay? So you got to hold that. You got to hold that I can do it. I don't care if you're 60 something or you're 15, you know, you can do it. Okay. Okay. We're going to go into the part that I advertise now that is a little bit futuristic, but in the sense it connects you to your past. I'm going to share a channel with you that Seth brought forward when I first started this particular realm of study with Seth, which is about your star family, about the history of the Earth, about the galaxy. And let's just go to the point now that how can that benefit you? Well, you're not from Earth, okay, for starters, okay? You're here, and you've probably been here hundreds to thousands of times, each time building your experience, each time building your knowledge, your wisdom. And where is all that? It's stored in your DNA. Whether you've been here 10 times or, well, everybody's been here more than 100 times, okay? So all that information, the mastery and the pain, the enlightenment, the lessons, it's all stored in your DNA. But it all stems back to each time you leave the planet, you go back to a particular location. I'm going to call that heaven for now. And then you end up connecting back to your star family. And that would be the family that you felt closest to when the Earth was reseeded. And that means reseeded into the DNA. When the Earth fell in consciousness, and it was 5D, and then it fell to 3D. when we were seeded to come back up to 5D, which is what's happening right now, we have the DNA was put into our bodies. It was everybody had a surgery of some kind, most of it before you were born, to have that potential to have the 12 strands activated again, okay, so that we can come back up into 5D. So that happened 200,000 years ago. So the influence of your star family and also the other benevolent star families is bigger than your biological family, okay? I'm telling you that, it is. You don't have to believe me, but it is. And they are watching you. They're watching you right now. And the closest star family that we all have would be the Pleiadians. They're benevolent. They are our star brothers and sisters at all levels, and they exist in the fifth dimension. So they are appointed and useful ambassadors in the sense of they're watching over you. You're on a nanny cam right now on the Pleiadian system somewhere. Somebody's watching you to see how you're evolving, how you're shifting, how you're changing. They're not spying on you. They're waiting to see if you're going to wake up. And as soon as you reach a certain vibration, they can connect with you. It's that AM, FM radio again. You've got to tune up, and then they can tune down, and then they can help you, okay? Other star family can help you too. So I thought today we'd just plant a seed. I know there's people in the class that have done this before with me, but I've also know there are people in the world right now that have done this with me many times. And they've told me every time they do it, they break through more, that they get more information from their star family. So, and I promise if you like this, we'll do more of it in future classes. All you have to do is watch for it. I think the classes I'm going to do in April are going to be called Aligning with Your Soul's Purpose, because that's what we need. You know, we need chunks of information to help us align and practice. Today and last week, it's a lot about visioning. And then after that, moving into the action steps, right, that make it possible. So I would recommend closing your eyes or a blindfold, you choose. And you may be guided to take notes, or you might just chill out and listen to this. It'll probably take me about 10 minutes to read it. Maybe not that long. And I want it to sink in, okay? And if you have no knowledge of any of this, just pretend somebody's telling you a story that works for you, that you really like the story. So here we go. Okay, and I'm just gonna reiterate that Seth is, oh, I don't have to share the screen, sorry. Okay, I remember now. But Seth is in the soul diagram in the Keys of Enoch is considered the original soul. It's a very old being. It happens to come in many forms, not just Master Cat Poodle. Your star lineage was Seth. In this exploration of who you really are, we revisit the Earth's starseed experiment that took place 200,000 years ago. More and more information is being made available to you now, revealing how the actual starseed experiment was brought forth and integrated into the DNA of the human choosing to live upon planet Earth. Following the destruction of almost all life on Earth, our planet and people went from living in a 5D world to living in a 3D world of duality. In a sense, we started over, being stripped to only 2 strands of active DNA. After this fall from grace, when the humans living upon the Earth were destranded in their DNA, the call went forth from Prime Creator to the 12-dimensional worlds of form. Each society was asked to offer of their DNA to reseed the human beings on Earth. This gift of love is the greatest experiment our universe has ever witnessed. It then became very popular to want to incarnate onto Earth, knowing the pure potentiality of being a part of this opportunity. The wisdom of 12 different evolved planetary civilizations is coded right into every subatomic particle of your DNA. The collective intelligence of 12 planetary worlds that have all ascended is within every human. This type of experiment is unique and powerful for every human. From a universal perspective, the human race is the brainchild of many stellar beings who took part in the inception of you, of who you are and who you are to become. The codes within your DNA are awakening, and it is now time to remember. Your family in the stars and your distant relatives from the expanse of this galaxy are ready to reintroduce themselves to each of you. Are you ready? You truly are a human species unto your own. The Galactic Federation, representing elders from each of the star systems and dimensions, sent their finest emissaries to Starseed and create the new galactic human. Never was there a more celebrated victory than the seeding of Gaia and the successful genetic splicing of the 12-dimensional worlds of form into your DNA. Understand that the emissaries of light from these many galaxies were united in their effort, and the Earth became in many ways the center of the universe. It is true that all eyes are upon you, the emerging super race of human beings. As free will beings, you incarnated and came in to create your own experience, to make your own choices, and to know the focus of dedicating yourself to an ideal. Quite simply, you came into this third dimension as a representative of one of the starseed races we speak of. Quite simply, you came to immerse yourself in the cycle of life and death and reincarnation until the work is complete. Now is the time to remember and embrace the truth that you are form and matter sparked with the crystalline energy of our Prime Creator. You can now begin to understand the power of your living light field, or Merkaba, and you can focus on the importance of the process of returning to the light. The universe and the beings that are your star brothers and sisters are watching and waiting for you to take the evolutionary leap, which moves you closer to the realization of their vision. This is your legacy. For as evolving souls who have committed to the third dimension in the Earth experience, you have chosen to take part in the ascension of an entire solar family. Whatever personal experiences you have been focused upon until now, you will find yourself shifting your consciousness to a more galactic awareness of your purpose for reincarnating upon the Earth as you exist in the body you live in now. You are part of an elite group of beings, those fortunate ones who have directly participated in celestial ascension. You are among the residents of planets who are all in the process of transmuting a physical body, a form, back into a light body. These are among the rarest of events in the universe, and they are exceptional moments in the all-time. Feel the love and the support that we all have for you. You are mutating into your light selves, about to integrate the brilliance of light which has lain dormant and hidden for 200,000 Earth years. The rewards for your hundreds and some of you thousands of lifetimes upon the Earth is coming into manifestation. As you quicken and raise your vibration to the new frequencies coming to this planet, you are accelerating the creation of light body within you. You are restructuring your genetic grid. You will radiate as a beacon for those who, like you, have also begun the transmutational process. This is an aspect of your attraction to each other as a soul family, now a star family. Your unification, which brightens the light of Gaia. As individual units or humans committed to service, you are anchoring the cosmic energies within you, and then beaming them out across the matrix of the crystalline grid, furthering the process for others. This is evolution at its finest, in its purest sense, where everything is in a state of becoming brighter as we journey together and we return to Source. Thank you for opening your hearts to remembering more about who you really are, remembering your lineage and your DNA back to 200,000 years ago is an important step. When the Earth was reseeded, where did you live? And who is your family? Asking these questions will lead you to remember and find those gifts within yourself that link you to your star family. Making this connection can greatly assist you in feeling powerful and motivated to continue to use your amazing gifts to discover those that are still dormant in your DNA. This process is designed to connect you to one or more of the planetary worlds where you lived when the Starseed experiment was implemented and Earth began her journey back into the fifth dimension. Your star family is watching and waiting to connect. There is great love here for you. So in the next 10 minutes or so, we're just going to have a little meditation where I'm going to say the names of the star families that contributed, that are already ascended races, that are a part of the Galactic Federation. And I want to have you see yourself standing in the center of the circle. And as some of you already know who your base star family is, which is where you've spent the most time. Some of you have moved around a bit, so you might resonate with more than one star family. But certainly one is more important than the others because it's where you most recently came from. So sort of like, let's say, I'm from California. Heather is from the East Coast. Is it New Jersey? Cause is from Canada, British Columbia. I mean, we're from different places. So we have a little bit of those qualities from where we live, wherever we go, right? People say, where are you from? So it's a little bit like that, but it's more important than that because you carry the attributes of your people. And this is just a temporary disguise. Think of it, I don't know if Halloween's the right word, where we all put on costumes and pretend to be somebody else. Right now, we're all pretending to be human. We're not really human, okay? And so when we can connect back to that, it's important. So if you want to do this exercise, you can write down Pleiadian and kind of see these in a circle around you. Write down Sirian, Arcturian, Andromedan, Alpha Centauri, Orion, Lyran, Lyran, Cetacean, which means that your original energy comes from dolphins and whales, Elemental, and then there's 3 categories of the higher beings, which would be Galactic Archangel, Cosmic Archangel, and Elohim. Okay, I'll say them again. Pleiadian, Sirian, Arcturian, Andromeda, Alpha Centauri, Orion, Lyran, Cetacean, Elemental, Galactic Archangel, Cosmic Archangel, and Elohim. Galactic Archangels are the one we call in when we do the angelic grid, like Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael. Those beings often have aspects on the earth, and you may be one of them. That's big, isn't it, to consider yourself an angel? Okay. So you can do this intuitively, or you can muscle test, use your pendulum. But you have to come to a place when you use a pendulum, remember that you don't know the answer. And so I'm going to put on some music, and I want to see you standing in the center of the circle, and I just want you to intuitively ask which one is the brightest for you, which is one that resonates the most for you. And after that, I'm going to read some attributes from that particular star system. And then, you know, if this is intriguing you, you might want to have a Akashic record session where you go more into it. Or come back and, you know, take some assessed classes where we talk about it in more detail of just this particular topic. But I really wanted to introduce you to it, even though, you know, this is about a lot of topics in this 2-week class. I think it's important. So I'm going to play some nice music. Oh, that's not it. Well, you have an experience of going within, either arc or drop into the heart. I would triangulate as I taught you with my guides. I'd bring my master guide in front and the other 2 behind my right and left shoulder. Ask them to help you. I would connect to my soul or higher being through the center below, center above, center within, and radiating core energy. Really tune to the frequency of your soul. And then know that you have the ability to do this and to trust it. Take about 5 minutes for the meditation, and then I'll come back on with more information that might help you further. Enjoy. Okay. So hopefully some information's come through as you muscle tested or intuit um, which race that you're primarily from. I'm going to share some information from Seth that might help that take root. And if you're intrigued by this, I hope you are, that you'll follow up and do further study of this, or you'll let me know if you're interested in doing some personal work, because this is important. So every single human has Pleiadian DNA. They are our brothers and sisters. Some are completely Pleiadian, but everybody has a little bit of Pleiadian. So if you connected with them, know that they gave us the heart that we have now, the capacity to love and to be loved was given, to show infinite compassion. I don't know, have you ever met someone that's just, they really radiate love. They really radiate this unconditional sense of all is well, I'm a divine being and so are you, and they support you. That's the energy of the heart of the Pleiadians. And even if you're not full Pleiadian, Seth is saying they're more than happy to come and work with you. If you're clairvoyant or you're bordering on clairvoyant and you're not afraid, ask them to come into your room, particularly when you're alone. And ask, usually when they appear, it's kind of a shimmering light. They're very tall, often have a bluish energy around them, bluish silver for me. They're often tall, like 8, 10, 12 feet even. Almost all have blue eyes. That doesn't mean that you would look like that here, by the way. That's just what they look like in their home world. Incredibly benevolent race of beings that have come through a lot to be who they are now. Okay. So the heart chakra really is a Pleiadian part of us. Arcturians gifted us with the ability to reason. Arcturians are usually very, very emotional people. They're usually, they're often in the dramatics, actors and actresses. Often they're healers. They come from a dimension outside of this galaxy, which is like 13th, 14th, 15th dimension. They're very advanced beings, and they're in service basically to help the Earth evolve without taking the free will from us, to help us. And some of my best friends are Arcturian. Just amazing, very complex emotional bodies. They have deeply felt feelings, which again is in touch with the creative force that runs through all of us. And they'll help you. Arcturian people will usually help you learn, they're here in some way to help you feel more, because they're already feeling it. They want everyone to feel like they feel. Okay, and an Arcturian out of balance would be someone that's causing a lot of chaos. Okay, they could do that too if they're out of balance, because they have these big emotional bodies. Okay, Andromeda are wise beings. They're often known for contemplative thinking and able to analyze complex problems, finding solutions to the mysteries of life. They often are known for their forward thinking, their ability to develop the intellect. So it's a challenge for Andromeda to be here, because in the Andromedan world, they're known for this complex analytical stuff that really doesn't work here. Our minds are not set up that way. So they have to learn to go to the heart to receive the complex emotional stuff that we're talking about. So it's a challenge. In their world, they look very different from the humanoid beings. Some people draw them as like big insect people, that kind of thing. They look different than the average humanoid being. So they've had to endure a lot of adversity to be accepted into the Galactic Federation, because there was, of course, lack of faith and prejudice there in the beginning. Now there's not. Now they're really revered for their physical appearance and who they are. But they would carry that with them if they would incarnate here. So they might be someone who feels they look different or does look different, one of the two. That might be part of your traits. But the challenge, of course, is for us to accept all beings, no matter how they look. Okay? And that includes animals, like spiders and snakes and stuff. Okay, Alpha Centauri are known for their advanced, finely tuned nervous system. They're very, very sensitive people, and they're able to think and use their minds in ways that allow them to be known throughout the star systems for their inventions and their ideas, to move outside of what is currently known and that which is not thought possible. They're known as people of great faith. Okay. The Lyrans are outside of our galaxy. They're in the 12th dimension. It's actually the home of cats, where Norse cats come from, the Lyran system. It's a world of where we move through the air on these ribbons of light. It's very, where everything is, in a sense, is alive. The buildings are built with crystals, crushed crystals, and everything's sort of moving, and the crystals are speaking. And it's also the world of what they call the dream weavers. The Lyrans are keepers of the Stargate that would allow a being that's pure light to come in from being part of source light, to come in and to have their first body. Their first incarnation would be a Lyran. In fact, everybody's had at least one Lyran life. And some have stayed and become the dream weavers, basically, where there's a group of people that live there that are women, and they sleep together and they join their arms and they dream a dream that will be sent to Earth for a greater Earth to become. They seed our dreams, because a lot of what we do comes from our dreams. So they're helping from that way. And they bring us the cats, who are very evolved. Okay, Sirians. Sirians are 6-dimensional beings, and they're the advanced geneticists. After you decide that you want to be born on Earth, and you pick your mother and your father for reasons that are only known to your soul, and the mother and the father agree in the higher realms, then it happens down here on Earth when they get together and make love, and of course you're conceived. You go to the Sirian system, which is the Sirius B, is the planet of the dolphins and whales. And you have your body designed. You're genetically designed, first as a baby and then as a growing person. And whales and dolphins are part of that. They're mostly known in the cosmos for their ability to be great geneticists. Here on Earth, they're the keepers of the Akashic records, and they're the molecular librarians of the grid. So I'm kind of describing Sirians and dolphins and whales at the same time. Okay. So you could be one or both of those. The galactic archangels are here, as we talked about. They're very powerful in this realm, not so powerful in other realms. If they leave this galaxy, they would not have the same power they have here. And they originally were intended to watch over us by God and to be stewards for us. And of course, many of them were allowed to incarnate, so they'd walk among us. The cosmic angels are Sandalphon and Metatron. Sandalphon is actually the sun god. He comes from a different universe, and he's an enlightened being that works with Helios and Vesta and takes care of the sun, because the sun is our father energy. It's very important that the sun works properly, or we would all die. Metatron is often considered the right hand of God, cosmic being with great power. So those would be the two cosmic beings you potentially could be descended from. The Elohim come from the Orion system, from the star Mintaka. And the Elohim are actually sparks of God. They have the ability to bring the God spark into consciousness, to awaken a genetically designed body to come into form with the God spark. Elohim people here are usually playing it small because they have so much power. They've been told to lie low, and to help people, but not to really show their power here. They're here to they're here to help us. I know a few Elohims, and they can walk into a room and you can feel it. You can just feel that God presence, even if they're not awake. You can feel it. They carry so much light. But often they're playing it small. They're not really showing their power yet. And then there's a few that have awakened, that I know, that are their Elohim. And they're not going to walk up to you and tell you, I'm an Elohim, I'm a God spark. But, they're out in the world doing wonderful things. Is my point, Elohim. So that's an overview. I hope that helped you. See what Seth wants to say here.
Lori, can you talk about elemental, or I missed it?
Oh yeah, elementals, thank you. Elementals are sparks of the Elohim that have come to Earth and have dedicated their service to Mother Earth. And they are the water, air, fire, crystal, and earth beings. The dwarfs, the gnomes, the sylphs, the undines, the fairies, crystal beings, and they are the builders of form. So when your body was built in the physical sense, like your body goes back to dust after your consciousness and your soul leaves the body. They're the ones that build form, and they're here to make your life much, much easier when you connect to them. And many of us have forgotten or not even taught about them. I think unless you're an indigenous person or you're, maybe Native American, I don't know, shamanic parents, many of us weren't taught about the elemental beings. But once you connect to them, boy, does the garden grow, huh? Life is better. They're so filled with love, but they also are, many of them, holding a grudge, so to speak, and went underground when we forgot about them. So often they are gardeners, and they are people who take care of the earth. They're very concerned with the earth, the oceans, the environment, the air. Okay. So hopefully you found this fun, and we'll take it to heart. If I was you and I didn't know where I was from, I wanted to know, I would meditate. I would use this exercise in further meditation. I'd reach out to them and I'd say, but the beings that would visit you now most easily would be Pleiadian. There's a few other benevolent races here. One of them is called the Arnan. There are many, many races of star beings, not just 12. But if you want to make contact with them, you can. But again, I really encourage you to work with the third eye. And you have to stop saying, I can't. If you keep saying, I can't, I'm not breaking through, I don't have the miracle the lady next door had, you're not going to do it, guys. You have to open to you and to your path, and whatever that means. There's no way one human, including me, can look into you and say, these are your blocks, they're keeping you from growing. I mean, I could help you find some of them, but mostly it's about you owning the fact that whatever is experiencing right now, you have created that. And loving that, the good, the bad, and the ugly, remember? Instead of doing this. If you put up your hand, I can't, it's not happening fast enough. You just have to stay open to it. You have to stay positive. Half full or half empty, big difference, right? With the cup, always half full or 3/4 full or almost full, with the vibration of raising, with the intention of raising your vibration. You have to come with an open heart and turn that mind off. You are perfect just as you are, and your soul is put you right where you are. So you might as well get with the program. Might as well align with it and be there with it. So, okay. So with that in mind, I will be doing more decoding of Star Family in the classes. And of course, I'm happy to do it with you individually too, where you can really go into it. But I want to share this with you. It's really powerful. Like I said, Poodle likes to write prayers. These are the Endar crystals. She says, I pray that each human will open to the light of their source in this lifetime. I pray that each human will open their heart and know how truly loved and supported they are during the earth experience. Ask yourself, do you know how loved you are? I pray that each human will open to receive the many gifts from Creator Source that are theirs to claim. When you truly know you are a divine creation. I pray that each human comes to know the support and guidance that is given to them when they are born for their entire life. Guidance. Are you connecting to your guides? If not, let's do it. Let's get with the program. I pray that each human remembers that they are truly unique and special and eternally loved. I pray that each human comes to know and remember that love is all there truly is, and that your human earth life is the playground that you've asked for. to be love in all of the ways you can imagine and create. So everything that you're feeling that isn't love is not your soul, okay? It's an earthbound reality. It's an illusion. It's a hologram, and it will not stand the test of time. This is what she suggests. You can, mute yourself, but read this with me. I open the gate for love to flow into my life every day as I connect to my creator source energy. You have to open the gate, guys. I open to the highest experience I can create each day as a conscious creator. So big, I forgive myself each day for any thoughts, feelings, words, or deeds that I created that are less than loving. And this also applies to I forgive everyone else for any thoughts, feelings, words, and deeds that I experienced that made me feel less than love, because no one can hurt me but me. When I'm centered in my heart, only one that can hurt me is me. So stop doing that, okay? Stop hurting yourself and forgive. I acknowledge that I am an expression of the divine, a child of source, and that I am the light by which all things come to me to be free and happy and alive with passion for life. If you don't have enough passion, open to more. Get out there, do the guided action thing. I choose all things that come to me so that I may experience my life as an awakening, transforming, and free, eternal being in human form. That's so huge. I experience my life as an awakening and transforming being. I intend that I fully embrace my ability to create my life as a free and independent vehicle of source energy. So is God free? Yeah. Are you free? I hope so. If not, get free, okay? Create a life of freedom. I accept that I do not need to wait for anyone or anything to move forward each day with faith and purpose to create all that I can imagine from my divine vibration of joy. Oh my God, how many people do you know that say, well, I just have to wait until my son does this and then I can do that. Or I have to wait until my husband does this or that, and then I can go out and be myself, Oh my gosh, don't do that, okay? Don't do that. Your family will love you more, your friends will love you more if you're authentic and you don't wait for them. They'll be inspired by you. And if they're not, then the relationship was never meant to be, okay? I embrace my human form and abilities and promise to be the best possible star of my own reality show on earth. I love that. I declare that truth and health, happiness, abundance, and balance are mine. I am the master of my reality, and I am grateful for my life. I love that. I choose to create my life from my heart, as each day I ask to raise my vibration and continue to awaken as the eternal, divine, spiritual being that I am. I am the light I am. May all beings be uplifted and healed and reborn by the power of my immaculate declaration. And so it is. So I think that is one of the best things that I've written through channeling, and I try to live by it. It's huge. I hope you liked it. I'll send it to you. That's a lot to aspire to, but it's really, there's nothing worth fighting over. There's nothing worth feeling, like you can't do it. There's nothing, it's just not worth it. Love is the answer, and coming to the heart, you'll be able to feel that. It isn't about how old you are. It isn't about how many bad things you've done. It's about choosing today, right now, to be different than yesterday or different than whatever you're holding a grudge over. Take the rocks out of your backpack and forgive, forgive, forgive. Start over. Look at this cutie pie. Somebody knows the answer. Okay, we have a few minutes. One little exercise. I'll also include this for you, but one of the great ways, and we'll do more of this in future classes, but is to work with a mirror. And I meant to put this in my confirmation letter, but it's just as well because we're running out of time. But if you're willing to sit and look into the mirror, really look into your own eyes. And it's really effective with candles. Like go in the bathroom, turn off the light, and light 2 candles. Go into the small space of your heart and really sit and look at yourself. You will break through. You will see stuff. Some of it might frighten you because you might start like a life review of all the different lives, starting with caveman. That happened to me. It's happened to some other people. But if you're really present, and also sometimes your soul will let you see other beings in the mirror beside you. It's really effective. And if it doesn't happen right away, don't stop and say it didn't work. Just be diligent, do it every day. Say, I'm going to look in the mirror for every day for 10 minutes. I'm going to light my candles. I'm going to go in my heart and say words that are affirming. Let's do that now. Mute yourself if you're not and say, I am. I'm going to say, I am creative. Say something positive to yourself. Now say, I create. I create new and exciting and powerful classes to share with others. Now I affirm. I affirm that I am an awakened, divine spiritual being. And now I choose. It can be practical. I choose to go swimming tonight. And let's all say, I am that I am. I am love. I am grace. I am compassion. I am divinity embodied. And I am grateful for my life. So we're just touching on this, but I would take this to the next level. Another thing, Nostradamus was known for is when I lived in Mexico, I had these beautiful vases that were glass. And I would fill them up with water and put candles all around them. And I would look into the water in the vase. And I saw amazing stuff. It's one of the ways I, started to recognize who was a guide, who wasn't a guide, who was an angel. And I just loved, what they would show me. And I'd sit and gaze into those water bowls. Very similar to looking into a mirror, but yet different. So you might try that. Nostradamus said that's when he got his quatrains, was by looking into receptacles of water with candlelight. You have to turn out the electrical lights though to make it work. At least that's how it's worked for me. Okay, last, Beth.
Did you ever look at a stream or something like that and be able to do that too, you think?
Like a running stream?
Yeah, or is that too much movement?
Well, I don't think the water would have to be really clear.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Got
Maybe.
it.
It hasn't happened for me, but I've had experiences in the ocean though, where I look down and see cities of light and all kinds of things like that.
Okay.
Mostly in Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good question though. Okay. So that's a good one. I'll send that to you. Oh yeah, this one, soul affirmation. This is a good one. I did this the other day on the radio and people just loved it. I got a whole bunch of emails. So mute your room and then let's say this together, okay? I reconnect spirit and body, heaven and earth, so that my body and soul are one. My soul connects to my heart center in peace and love. I manifest from soul and spirit into matter, following the laws of divine creative power and balance. I create a garden of peace and creativity within my heart and soul that manifests around me. I am connected to the powerful flow of divine creative intelligence, and I direct this flow into magical manifestation through intention and focus. I live without fear, without expectations and attachments, but simply in the flow of love, creativity, and divine manifestation. I have mastered the fifth dimension of oneness and released the hold of duality and the shadow on my life. I am ready to embrace love, creativity, and the magic of the sixth dimension or higher, and to flow with the powerful light codes and currents without fear. I am ready to balance myself between heaven and earth and to step forward as a master of these energies on earth. I am that I am. So be it, and so it is. Let's all do that today. Yeah? Pretty cool.
Are you going to send us a copy of that one?
I am. I will send you those when you get your Hightail. Probably be tonight or tomorrow. You get the copy of this class. I'm also going to include the last class just in case you didn't download it.
Yeah.
And these handouts. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. But what really turns the key what's the engine that makes all this work other than the heart? Is your path of service. You came here to be all of these things, to be filled up with light and love, but you also came here to serve. And so remember, every life, you talk to Jesus, talk to Buddha, talk to whoever you want. What'd you do last life? Chopped wood and carried water. I showed up. Okay? So we're going to close with the service prayer. And it's part of my film. It's also written out. If you want it written out, I can send that to you too. I have it. I wrote this prayer. It's one of the things I think my soul brought through. It wasn't Seth. It wasn't Dolphins and Wells. So many of the beings I channel. I really think it was me. And I think it was teaching me at the time. And now I use it to teach others. It's a beautiful prayer to dedicate your life back to service. So we're going to close with this prayer. I hope you enjoy it.
This is our service prayer. I am in service to my Creator and the Creator. This is our service prayer. I am in service to my Creator and the Creator of all that is. I pray to always serve the light of my Creator, God, Goddess, Source, with love, and to always do my part to the very best of my ability. I pray to always go and be exactly where I need to be to manifest the Creator's divine master plan of love. I acknowledge my service and the gift of my earth life back to the One. Please use my body and soul combined with my free will as your own to serve at the highest possible level as your representative. I give humble thanks for the ability to serve at this level. I am grateful for my life. I am a unique and integral part of the divine master plan of love. I am an example of divine love. I pray now for the highest good of all beings in all places and at all times. I honor my divinity by serving my Creator joyfully. Let us rejoice. And so it is. We give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. Amen. Amen. Amen.
So thanks everybody for doing this 2-week class with me. I know it's got a lot of information, and that just means there's a lot to work with for you to raise your vibration, to make different choices, honoring that free will day, using the 24 hours in your free will to be a being of love and light, starting with you, self-love, and all the different tools that allow you to transform into that glorious being of light even more every day. Wherever your vibration is, know that you can raise it. There's no penalty. There's no punishment for wherever it is you are. There's just karma. So it starts with self-love, and then unconditional love for the world, and then, of course, the path of service. We're all here to serve. So I love you all. There's Buddha. We love you all too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
Thank you very
everybody.
much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye for now. Much
Bye-bye.
love.
Much love.